out of your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
no,
Just
it's
get
main
into the main road.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, my neighborhood has been plowed, but this still, it's just a little bit funky. So go slow.
Oh, you got the beast now, too. Your truck rips through it.
Yeah. I got a 2025 Ford Bronco, my Ramos ride, wrapped in Ramos Law stuff.
Ramos ride.
If you see me, say hello. But it's cool. But just take your time, man. Because here's the thing: it doesn't. We used to tell people this selling cars my first year out of college. Like, you can have 4-wheel drive, you can have huge tires, and be in this big truck. It's not gonna impact how you stop.
It's physics.
Or don't slide. Like,
If you're sliding, you're going to slide.
You're sliding, you're going to slide. So just act accordingly. It's not a, measuring contest driving through the snow like in a big truck. So just relax, go slow, be considerate. Like, yeah, it's all good. But I was listening to this conversation about the Nuggets, man. It's, I'm disappointed. This team shouldn't have to learn more lessons.
Correct.
They're like full of veteran players. You guys have been embarrassed in the playoffs 2 straight years. Like, you won a championship in 2023. In 3 weeks or so, or less than 4 weeks, it's going to be 2026. Like, this, like, no one's fearing you anymore. People don't quiver when they come to Denver by evidence of a 4-game losing streak in Denver. And you think about, like, the points that they're giving up offensively. Dude, this is how bad it is for the Nuggets right now. Think about this. The Nuggets right now have the greatest offensive rating in NBA history.
Damn.
Right now. And you've lost 4 games in a row at home. How is that possible? Like, that should illustrate just how bad and unprofessional this defense has been. Just flat out unprofessional. And I used that word way too often last year. David Adelman used it at his intro press conference at the end of last year, saying, we need to be more professional. And that was on the court and also off the court. And I think culturally, I think the Nuggets are in a better place, but the unprofessionalism on the court defensively, I can't explain it, but you shouldn't have to learn more lessons. It's a bit embarrassing. It is.
And you shouldn't have to along those same lines, and I think this was part of the conversation when David Adelman was talking about it. It was like an effort thing, and we're like, hey, maybe David Adelman needs a little bit more Michael Malone. Why does a team that has climbed the mountaintop in recent years and, frankly, bang their head against the ceiling and into a wall as embarrassingly and as often as they have outside of that, why do they need to be reminded or learn more about the importance of effort, particularly on the defensive side of the ball? Like, why is that still a learning process and not just something that's factored in at this point?
No, and that's what makes it embarrassing. I mean, this is the first 20 games of the season. So a 1/5 of your schedule you've lost at home to bad basketball teams. And I mean, like I said it yesterday, but I meant it. We've had teams on losing streaks that come to Denver and get right.
Slump buster.
The Bulls had lost 5 games in a row, came to Denver to get right. The Kings had lost 8 games in consecutive order and came to Denver to get right. The Dallas Mavericks had the single worst offense in all of professional basketball, and they come in here and win by double figures and hang 130 on you? That should be impossible if you are sober and even halfway motivated. And this is what I'm seeing it, and that's why I'm confused why people are being dismissive of it and say, well, they don't have their guys.
It's like the injuries.
Yeah. Are you watching the games though? Because to watch the games is to be frustrated. And we have a coach here, David Adelman, who is pleading with the team to play defense. Can you remember another time where the head coach of the Nuggets was pleading with his team to play defense?
He said it a little differently, but the pleading was the same.
Yes. So it's like the exact same dynamic. The old Who song, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. And I know they're not the same, but the results defensively currently are. And it's problematic and it's disturbing.
No, it is. And that's why, when we're having the conversation, and it was kind of predicated off of Josh and Cecil asking me, hey, would you play Jamal Murray with a questionable designation given how he's, tended to compound some injuries and he's missed time and you don't want to add another name of another starter on a ever-growing injury list. And there's a part of me that says that, the Nuggets, because of the way that the Western Conference underneath Oklahoma City is panning out, you may not be able to afford to just concede a lot of even early quarter 1, quarter 2 regular season wins because of the fight that you're going to be in. And then you compound the fact that the injuries that they're facing, people say, oh, just wait till they get their guys back. They're going to be fine. Look how they were when they're fully healthy. Have hamstring injuries been like a rare thing for Aaron Gordon in the last 2 or 3 years?
It's the start of the season is the same as the end of the last season.
Exactly. So is it a reasonable expectation that injury could continue to linger throughout the season, even when he's reevaluated and comes back into the new year? Of course. So there's an element of, again, for a team that has the aspirations and the urgency that the Nuggets have, that you got to learn to play better without some of these guys. You can't just hang the hat on it.
Dude, it's the NBA.
Yeah.
It's the NBA. And by the way, that's assuming when those guys come back that no one else gets hurt. Right? So, well, just wait till they come back. Well, you don't know what this is. There's still 50 games in front of us. So, here's what I'll say. The Mavs came in here the other night, talking about missing pieces. No P.J. Washington. No Derek Lively. No Kyrie Irving. No, who was the fourth guy that didn't play the other night? No P.J. Washington, no Derek Lively, no Daniel Gafford. These are 4 guys. First of all, they're multiple starters in there, just the same way that the Nuggets are missing multiple starters. Really, 3 starters are out from the Mavs and another guy who plays 20-plus minutes. They came in here and kicked your head in. They scored 42 points in the second quarter. And I said this yesterday. I'm thankful that I didn't go down there and watch that game on Monday night because I was so frustrated in my living room. If I was down there watching it, and I'm a credentialed media member, had I paid for a ticket, drove downtown, maybe brought my kid, paid for parking, spent $50 on food, and that's the product that they're rolling out here in the first 20 games of the season. Again, I'm frustrated, I'm passionate about it, but I think anyone who is watching the games should be frustrated with this product because the overall record is not, and Jokic said this over a week ago, it's not as reflective of where the team is at right now defensively. And if you don't play defense, I mean, you know what, this team, I have to say this too because it's not all doom and gloom. This team's going to win 50 games. You have the greatest player walking planet Earth in a sport where only 5 guys play at once.
He's won as much with less.
Correct. But if you don't change your ways, and we're saying this for a 3rd straight year defensively, you're not going to win anything in the playoffs. You're just not. You're not.
No, you're not.
It's disappointing. That being said, they have an opportunity tonight in Indiana. And I got to say this one more thing. On Monday night, that's when the game was, right? Mavericks Monday night? Yeah. The Mavericks came in here with Andrew Nembhard's little brother, an undrafted rookie named Ryan Nembhard, who was playing in his 9th NBA game ever. And he went for 28 points, 10 rebounds, and no turnovers. Or 10 assists and no turnovers. The first NBA rookie to have 25 or more, 10 assists or more, and no turnovers since Stephon Marbury.
Wow.
Dude, that's almost 4 decades ago. The Nuggets are making, you can come in here because of their defense, you can make a name for yourself in your 9th NBA game and put yourself alongside Stephon Marbury statistically in a one-off fashion because of how unprofessional their defense was the other night. It's got to get fixed. It's got to get fixed, or it won't, and they won't win anything. So, okay, was something unlocked on the Broncos' offense that could help mitigate the lacking run game? We'll talk about it next.
Does David Adelman need to take a page from his predecessor's playbook?
When you look and listen to David Adelman, do you feel like you are looking and listening at a guy that's going to be able to get on guys and do so in a way that they're going to respond? Malone could be intimidating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can Adelman get the message across when the effort is bad?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Phillip Lindsay here with the one and only Williams Jewelers. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening right now who are thinking about popping that question, and you know you need a diamond. So I'm going to save you time and money right now by telling you this. You need to go see my jeweler, Williams Jewelers, for that perfect diamond engagement ring or the ultimate holiday gift. Or hey, just because that special somebody really deserves it. This holiday, imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you comfortable and feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, and the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Phillip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Evans with Todd Whalen from Advanced Tax Solutions. Well, Todd, it couldn't last forever. The government shutdown is over. The IRS is back and ready to roll. What does that mean for folks who have an IRS bullseye painted on their back?
Well, Mike, we've seen this once before. They were completely closed during the pandemic. And what happened? They came out with their gloves on and started levying people. So now, if you have an IRS problem, it's way better if you can get a solution before you get the levy notice. You have more options, you have more time, we have the ability to do a better job. So if you're ready and it's time to get this IRS problem off your back, now's the time.
All right, Todd, I get it. The IRS is back. They mean business, but you know what? You mean business too. You've been doing this for a long time. You're ready to help folks out with all of their IRS tax issues. Give Advanced Tax Solutions a call today, 303-753-6040. That's 303-753-6040.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Tune in to Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Here on a Wednesday, December 3rd, as the snow is falling with fury.
It's here.
It's here. It's here. And so is Richie Carney filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. Phil a little bit under the weather, or he's a bold-faced liar. We're never sure. Hope he'll be back tomorrow.
So it keeps it spicy.
Keeps it spicy. So we got Richie filling in today, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun today. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm fired up. On the way in here, got a call from my wife Ashley, and she says, "Hey, I just advanced past the queue I'm ready to buy Zach Bryan tickets.
Bingo.
At Empower on Friday night in August, and we're doing stuff with it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
something in the orange and blue.
You know what?
Pay it off.
We're right here. We're right here. There's something in the orange and blue coming to Empower Field in August. Zach Bryan is bringing his With Heaven on tour to the Mile High City. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show on August 13th. All you have to do is download the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app and click on the banner to enter. That's it. If you would like to purchase tickets, head to denversports.com/orange for more info. And, so we're locked in, man. And I just always like having something on the calendar just to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's off in the distance. Say, hey, something cool. We have a benchmark cool moment this summer. So I'm fired up.
Yeah, me too, man. That's a show that I'll probably be sniffing around myself. And I tried to get in. I got in earlier this year for a different show. I did the pre-sale for the first time. I've never done that before.
For who?
I think it was for Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was the Morgan Wallen show that got announced a couple months ago. And I signed up for a pre-sale thing, and I got a code to get in. You know, it's like a selective thing.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be cool. Do you know what the capacity is for Empower Field, just off the top of your head?
It's around like 72, I want to say, for a football game.
Yep. I got into the queue right on time when it said I was supposed to. 105,000 people in the queue.
Yep.
100, and I was like, and I'm 105,001. You know, and I was like, oh, this is a different world. I was not prepared for this. And then you're sitting there staring at it. Like when you said I just got into the queue, I'm like having flashbacks of like, oh, what a process. Like you feel like you can't leave too far from your computer. You don't want to refresh the page, but you got stuff going on. Like I was here at work.
Dude. So I was in the same queue with Morgan, and there was 80,000 people in front of me. I signed right on, like literally within 30 seconds after the click. It was started at, I think, 11 a.m. on like a Wednesday. And I was in the queue and got caught up, came in here, lost my spot.
Yep.
No Morgan tickets.
Yep.
So is that what happened to you?
Yep. I had a meeting I had to jump into, and then I taped my show, and it was a whole thing, and I came back and was like, well, all right.
Yep. Curiosity question for the fellas here, Drew and Dante behind the glass. What's the better seat? Because this is the decision we had to make. Sitting in the 9th row on the side of the stage, on the side of it.
Okay, so you're like parallel with the front of the stage, basically.
You're looking at he's out there looking straight. You're looking at his side, but you're in the section that's bumped up to the final section, because they're going to block it off behind so they can build the big stage.
Yeah.
So you're in the final section, but you're in the 9th row. All right. So first 10 rows, look at side of the stage, or row 37. All the way across from the front of the stage.
Oh, like opposite end zone kind of thing.
Opposite end zone, but you're facing the stage, but it's row 37. So you're 27 rows up, but you're looking at the front of the stage, or the 9th row on the side of the stage.
I'll kick it off and just say I actually think that the 9th row from the side is decent as long as you've got a good view of the screen, right? Because you're going to be looking at the screen in the other one anyways. So you're already factoring that in, but if you're kind of close enough where they've got, you're right up there near like the pyrotechnics because you're close to the stage, and they usually try to make an appearance to the left and right of center stage.
They always do.
So I would say, especially somebody like Morgan Wallen that moves around and does that kind of thing. I wouldn't be mad with either one, but my initial gut said the side view.
Fellas behind the glass.
See, I would actually go the other way. I would go to row 37 because I would assume that the sound will actually be better back there than it would be on the side of the stage, the way the speakers will be set up.
I agree. Dante?
That could be a factor.
I'm with row 9 on the side because if you're row 37, not only are you higher, you're also, 70 yards away from the stage?
Yeah, easily.
Easily. With all the field in front of you, too. So I think the side is, you're probably a quarter of the distance away.
But do you need to see him or do you want to hear him?
I want to do both.
You can hear him on Spotify. You can only see him in concert.
That's fair.
Kistner, what do you got back there? Just signal the 9th row?
Yeah.
The 9th row? Okay.
Drew picked his spot because the bathrooms are probably more accessible in that section. He's about convenience.
Well, that's being practical as well.
Exactly.
So we picked row 37 across from the main stage. And it was $100 less. And
that makes a difference too.
That kind of broke the tie. It was like, we could do either of these are two good seats.
Yes.
Let's just,
But with that added context, if I'm saying, okay, $100 a ticket less, I can live with the other one. You know what I mean? It's not that much more important.
50 a ticket less, 100 less
100
total for the 2 tickets.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, still.
I'm good with it.
All right, well, I'll be there. Hey, was something unlocked on the Broncos offense that could help mitigate the lacking run game? Evan Ingram had his best game of the season on Sunday. Do you view this as a flash in the pan or a sign of things to come for the quote-unquote Joker?
I want to say it's a sign of things to come, because the reason I push back against the flash in the pan portion of it was, if you're looking at his stat line, right, 6 receptions for 79 yards and a long of 41 there. So a lot of that, half of that essentially taken on one play. I think the playmaking potential is there for Evan Ingram. It just hasn't translated. But when you're looking at his production from a targets perspective, it's not uncommon for him to get north of 6 targets. He had 9 against the Commanders. But 5-6 targets, even into that 7 range, that's firmly within what we've seen from Evan Ingram. He's had a couple that dip below that here and there when the Broncos' offense has struggled as a whole. I think it's just about converting it the way that he did. And so I think it's a sign of things, certainly that can be, and I hope it's to come, because I don't think there was a volume issue there that all of a sudden he just got way more opportunity against the Commanders.
No.
It was just about capitalizing on the moment, which he did.
Yeah, he came in the game with 50 targets to his name, so that it's not quite Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, but sort of approaching that vein. How about this? How about this for a stat? Ingram's catch and run in overtime went for 41 yards. That was twice as long as his longest play previously of the season, which was 20 yards. Furthermore, if you put Ingram's best 2 games together, his best 2 games, cherry pick his best 2 games, which was against the New York Jets and the New York Giants, add them up, it's only 5 yards more than he produced on Sunday Night Football. So, healthy direction he's going.
The other thing I think that I thought was nice was when you're looking at his box score and kind of comparing it to previous games of the season, this was one of, I think he might have had one that was higher, but it was a different sample size. He had some of his deepest yards per target. So the routes that he was running were deeper on average than what he was getting. And I think when the further space you get between yourself and the line of scrimmage, the more room there is to work with. And that's Evan Ingram's kind of secret sauce, is that even at his advanced age for tight end purposes, he still seems to be able to make a move, plant a foot, and make something happen in space. That's what turned into that 41-yard reception. And so I think it's not a coincidence that I think that some of the better games in terms of depth of target for Evan Ingram come from games we've seen Bo Nix comfortable in the pocket, willing to sit and hang and allow Sean Payton's route combinations to develop. So he may be a little bit dependent on Bo Nix in that regard about if this is a sign of things to come. There's certainly another partner in that dance. But if we can see more of the comfortable, confident, feet-planted Bo Nix, I think the Evan Ingram production will follow.
Yeah, that was the first time this year where both Bo and Ingram were on the same page, because we've seen Ingram let Bo down with his drop rate, and we've seen Bo just flat out miss open touchdowns for Evan Ingram. So it's really, really good to see. And hopefully, again, it's just something to build off of. And honestly, for Ingram, he's been so frustrated. Maybe it's just a huge exhale of like, I am still him. I am very productive in the NFL. And no one would confuse him with a top 5 tight end, but that version of Evan Ingram that we saw under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football, that's closer to what we're looking for, where maybe we're saying, hey, he's between the 9th and 12th best tight end in the NFL.
It's the Evan Ingram we saw in training camp.
Yep.
We were all standing there on the sideline in training camp going, this guy's going to eat. He moves well in space. He's quick. He changes direction. He had sure hands. And it just didn't translate through the majority of the season. But the comparable game, when I was talking about like running deeper routes down the field, the only game this season that's comparable to what we saw from Evan Ingram against the Commanders was the Cowboys game, where the Broncos just routed them, and they were basically playing against air, offense versus defense. And I think that it again just points to maybe the way that we thought Evan Ingram was going to be successful based on how, and maybe it's changed based on how the Broncos have performed. It's just tweaked slightly, and we got the most recent example of it against the Commanders.
All right, Richie Carney filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. We have a fun show planned. There is something happening in a sport for the first time in 46 years, and a Denver sports team is at the center of it. That's next.
It'll be fine by dusk, but I'm telling you, baby.
There's something in the orange and blue coming to Empower Field next August. Zach Bryan is bringing his With Heaven On tour to the Mile High City, and we want you there.
Let me go.
Download the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app and click on the contest banner to enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the hottest show of the summer.
We're having an all-night revival.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
The holidays, the lights, the joy, the awkward moments in the bedroom you'd rather forget. Remember the first time the ho-ho-ho didn't quite go, and you told yourself, hey, no big deal, it happens to everybody. Then it happened again, and then it happened for a third time, and suddenly you're avoiding the mistletoe like it's a live electric wire. Meanwhile, your partner is giving you that look like, what's wrong with you, and maybe what's wrong with me? And it shouldn't be like that, because it's not on your partner, it's on you to get the right treatments. And I'm here to tell you that Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic treatments work when the pills and herbals fail you. They have treatments with success rates well over 9%. And some of these treatments can have you last an hour or even more. So what you need to do is schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today. Your initial visit is only $99, and this will include a medical consult with a Colorado licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And here's the kicker, gentlemen. If the test dose does not work in the office, the visit is absolutely free. And they have 5 locations out there to serve you as well, so there are no excuses. Go get treated. You can go to Fort Collins, North Denver, Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs. So this holiday, give them a call today at 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Looking to sell your used Rolex watch? We buy and sell pre-owned Rolex watches, all styles from old to new. Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. Bring in your Rolex watch and we will buy it on the spot. Matthews, located in Highlands Ranch, serving Colorado since 1951.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Colorado can count on.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com.
It's Toyotathon at Groove Toyota, and our used lot is stacked. Choose from hundreds of used and Toyota certified vehicles, from Colorado-ready SUVs to reliable commuters, plus over 25 vehicles under $10,000. If you want selection and value, you won't find a better lineup anywhere else. Lock in your deal now before the clock runs out. Shop today online at GrooveToyota.com or on Broadway in Inglewood. Groove Toyota. Start here. Go anywhere.
After a car accident, you might wonder, do I really need a lawyer? But at Postman Law, we go beyond the courtroom. We're your single point of contact for insurance, medical bills, and doctors. Get the outcome you deserve without the headache.
Call 844-POSTMAN. Attorney Advertising.
Need a new water heater? Euro Plumbing has lifetime warranties, great financing, and low pricing. 720-500-3000. 720-500-3000.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at WistaraCU.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, mixing it all. Zach Bryan here on a hump day. So I'm fired up. I just got my tickets for August. And you want to know what else I got tickets for today? What else did I get tickets for today? I will be with my sidekick, my wingman, my 7-year-old Owen. We are going to be in the biggity building of a place called Moby Arena on Saturday afternoon for CU and CSU.
Hey, now.
I'm freaking fired up, dude. So we're going to have our basketball game at noon, and I'm going to coach our little guys, 7- and 8-year-old basketball, and then we're going to sprint home, take a quick shower, get right up to Fort Collins, and really see a really fun matchup. CU is 8-0 for the first time since, what was it, the 1949 and 50 season?
1950.
CSU, under Nico Medved, 6-2, and their 2 losses are by a combined 4 points. I mean, this is going to be a really fun basketball game on Saturday afternoon, and I have not been in Moby in years since I called CSU against DU in a pinch backup role for DU. So I am freaking fired up for Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Catch that game here on the Fan, by the way, 2:30 pregame.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be listening to pregame on our way in.
There
I
you
love
go.
it. I love it. Okay, something is happening in a sport for the first time in 46 years, and a Denver sports team is at the center of it. How about this? The Colorado Avalanche joined the 1979-80 Philadelphia Flyers as the only teams in the history of the NHL with 1 regulation loss through 26 games after getting it done against Vancouver last night in a sloppy 3-1 victory, Rich. Pretty cool stat there.
It's unbelievable. And again, it's just, it feels like, when we have these moments with Jokic, right, where it's like, oh, we got another since Wilt game, or this stat that Jokic is just undoing annals of NBA history that have come before him. The Avs are kind of in that mode right now with the start to the season that they've had. And the second most staggering thing to that stat that you pointed out that I didn't realize up until this morning when I was looking through some of the conversation about it, that 1979-1980 Flyers team went 37, I think it was.
35.
35?
35 consecutive wins.
35 consecutive wins.
Yeah.
With 35 wins with only 1 regular season loss. So 35 before collecting their second. That's insane.
Psychotic.
So for all the great things that the Avalanche are doing, they've still got like a healthy chunk of games in front of them to even match the team that they're kind of in the conversation with. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm not obsessed with like the streaks, and I used to follow them so closely. Remember Nathan McKinnon's home point streak to start a season, like
20-something games.
It was insane. It wasn't last year. I think it was a year before. But like when the team continues to lose in the playoffs, that becomes less important for me personally. I'm just speaking for myself. But when you're talking about this only happening one other time in the history of the sport, like that, you have to hat tip that. You have to acknowledge that and pay homage to that. You're not joining a list of 6, 7, 8 other teams. You're joining a list that had one when you woke up yesterday morning, and you're the second. That's it's historical in every way. And even when they don't have their best stuff, and the game was, I almost feel bad for the people in the building last night. It was just so disjointed and not aesthetically pleasing at all. But they can win. They can win 1-0 like last weekend. They can win 9-1 like 2 weekends ago. They can win 3-1 in a disjointed slopper. How do you want it? Styles make fights. I can go from righty to southpaw, period over period if you want. Pretty cool.
No, it is. And again, I think it's such a satisfying payoff to all of the individual components underneath a mantle like that are coming together, that you're getting to see the fruition of. The tear that Nathan McKinnon is on to start the season, on pace for 69 goals.
69 goals.
The way that
and just to frame a reference real quick, you know what the league leader was last year? It was Leon Draisaitl. You know how many goals he scored?
How many?
52.
Holy
And McKinnon's on pace for 69.
Yeah. Again, so you have that, and it's like, we've seen Nate Dogg have some seasons before. He's a Hart Trophy winner in his past, but this is like another gear and another level. And then you look at the way that Cale Makar and the way that he can trend and is trending toward like a serious Norris Trophy contention, the way that you factor in the goaltender room with the way that it started with Blackwood's injury kind of bleeding into the start of the season, and Wedgwood being one of the best goaltenders in the league, and all these other individual components. You're getting depth scoring from Olofsson and Brindley. You're getting in the last 10 games that Brock Nelson and Gabe Landeskog are suddenly coming to form, and it's like all of these awesome microcosms and individual things are coming together, and you're getting the historic kind of team mantle with the record that they've started with.
Pretty cool, and it's so fun to watch. The sky's the limit. Hey, really quick house cleaning thing. This has hit me over a head like an anvil in a cartoon, and no one corrected me on this. Dante, you're laughing behind the glass.
Yeah, I think I know what you're about to say.
No, you say it first.
Nico Medved is no longer the head coach of Colorado
How
State.
did no one catch that?
Yeah, I definitely let that. I was just so focused on the matchup and you being there and kind of like that. I didn't even go there. Yeah, it's the what's his name? The former NBA player.
Ali Farouk-Manesh.
Ali Farouk-Manesh. Yeah.
Yes. Legend, March Madness legend, truly personified. How did I just make that mistake, and how did no one hold me accountable?
Zach, if I had to correct you for every mistake, you'd never get anywhere.
Wow, Dante.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
Normally he waits to take these shots when you're not here, so it's at least refreshing that he's looking eye to eye.
Or the commercial break. Goodness gracious. Yes, clearly Nico Medved not the coach at CSU anymore. But where were we talking about the Avalanche? We mentioned McKinnon. 2 goals last night. And I'll say this real quick from a human standpoint. Did you see Gabe Landeskog's assist to Nate Dogg?
I did.
And it's a one-timer. I don't know why I like this stuff, but Nate is so tightly wound. There's a lot of times where he will score a goal, and it looks like he just ate a fistful of Sour Patch Kids.
Right.
He just doesn't allow himself to, and that's probably why he has reached these levels of greatness, because he's so maniacal. So I have to say this from a human standpoint, and I don't think he does this with everyone in that moment last night specifically, but when it's Gabe who's playing so well right now, and he feeds him that puck on his the tape of his stick, and he just drills it home, and the smile that like lit up on his face, not like smiling for a picture. I'm talking like open mouth smile, like you're hanging out at a party and you just heard a hilarious joke. Like that was the look on McKinnon's face. And I don't know why I care about stuff like that, but hey, just allow yourself. Life is short. You are on top right now. Just even if it's for a split second, if you can just unwind that Mamba mentality for just a split second and enjoy the moment. We saw that last night, and it's cool to see.
It was, and I think, you probably, if you try to put yourself in between the ears of like a Nathan McKinnon, which, as you alluded to, can be probably a scary space sometimes.
Yes.
When you're seeing Gabe Landeskog have like the 10-game stretch that he's had, especially after, he had like 4 or 5 points taken off the board earlier in the season with other things. And so, he moved down to the third line because it wasn't going so hot on the second line, and he finds his footing, and now he's coming back, and he's feeling kind of like, I don't know, what, 80-ish% of the Gabe that we saw, during the Stanley Cup run, pre-injury.
Sure.
And so if you're putting yourself in Nathan McKinnon's headspace there, and it's like, it's probably starting to feel a lot like that championship year again, and it can be hard even for a guy like McKinnon maybe to suppress that and go, okay, no, this is real, this is working, and he gets to see his longtime line mate and buddy and friend, succeeding in a way that he fought back 3 years to try to accomplish.
I love it, man. I love it. It's last night wasn't as fun to watch, but this run has been really fun. And how about Brock Nelson? Goodness gracious, Brock Nelson. If I could do my Paul Heyman. This guy is so fun right now. 6 goals, 6 assists in the last 10 games. Hard to play better than that over a 10-game stretch. And this one more stat is hysterically fun. I can't believe it's true. The Colorado Avalanche, this is a McKinnon stat.
Unbelievable.
When McKinnon is on the ice and the Avs are playing 5-on-5 with McKinnon, the Avs are outscoring teams 37 goals to 9. Unbelievable.
Best professional hockey player on the planet.
Unbelievable. All right, what version of the Denver Nuggets do we get tonight in Indiana? That's next.
Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan and Blue Sports Stable in Superior for our Denver Sports Equipment Drive, benefiting Recruiting Classroom. We're taking donations of new or gently used sports equipment through December 20th. Head to denversports.com/equipment for a list of drop-off locations and most needed items. And help us spread some cheer this holiday season.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids are going to grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. Plus, you get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices with no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices are going to be working in perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings attached. So even though your kids will grow up and you still won't understand what 6-7 means, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. All with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
You know that feeling when you catch a glimpse in the mirror and think, hey, I look 10 years younger. That's what happens when you stop dieting and start doing Soda weight loss.
If you're ready to feel stronger, healthier, and yes, look and feel 10 years younger, this is your moment.
Sign up now and your partner joins for free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
For the fitness fanatic on your Christmas list, save big this holiday season. At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. We have the nation's lowest prices on the best equipment money can buy. We carry true treadmills. They are the smoothest, quietest, and best warranty treadmills ever built for the home. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose from the safety and comfort of your own home. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company.
As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shank Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shank Company, your friend and jeweler.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Annuities not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic.
Get ready for every Broncos game with Super Bowl 50 champion Brandon Marshall as he joins The Drive every Friday afternoon at 4:45 exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Thanks to Corwin Toyota Boulder. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. DenverSports.com and the Denver Sports app. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
What version of the Denver Nuggets are we going to get tonight in Indiana as the Nuggets descend on Indianapolis? I'm trying to remember, what's the name of that barn that they play in? It's some field house, right? Gamebridge Field House. That's what it is. It'll be a 5 o'clock tip. This is a team in the Nuggets that has actually played better on the road than at home, which is almost just like inexplicable, considering the natural advantage you have here at altitude in an era of Nuggets basketball where the arena more often than not, significantly more often than not, is filled with Nuggets fans in a way that just wasn't the case when, I'll just speak for myself, when I first moved here in 2017, felt like, whoever was in the building, maybe 40% was going to be the other fan base. And they've lost twice as many games at home than they have on the road. Bizarre.
It is. It is one of those things where, you hear David Adelman step in front of a microphone after a game. They've had 4 consecutive home losses. They're giving up right around 130 points in each of one of those. And then he was asked kind of about the going out on a road stand here and getting out of the barn a little bit. And I think he was saying it somewhat sarcastically or in jest, but, I think it was Robin Williams or somebody said, like, most comedy comes from a place of pain, kind of thing, where David Adelman saying, like, hey, actually, we're kind of excited. I'm excited for us to get on the road because we've been playing pretty good out there. And it's like, okay, yeah, but it's a symptom or a sign of something a little bit deeper going on with the Nuggets.
There's no doubt, and it starts and really ends with their defense. I know we talked about this at the top of the hour briefly during the crosstalk, but gosh, their defense right now is so bad. In the month, really since the Bulls loss in the November 17th, that game was, the Denver Nuggets have the single worst defense in the NBA. They also have the single best offense in the NBA. And I do wonder if there's like a real correlation between the two. And obviously, the game of basketball is like the human body. It's all connected together. It's all connected and intertwined together inextricably. But when your offense is that damn good, and it's almost like one of my best friends in the world, Dan, he came here and visited me recently, my high school teammate and lifelong friend since going back to middle school. he was just always so smart. And I had to work for every B that I ever got. I really had to work. And my buddy Dan, man, he was going to wait till the night before, and he was going to turn in something that he slapped together at midnight the night before, and he was going to get an A. That's just how it was going to be for him. And we had so much contrast in that way. The Nuggets are like my buddy Dan, who feel like, want to know what? I've done this a bunch. It doesn't... Our offense is so good, it really doesn't matter. We have the greatest offensive rating in NBA history right now. We're just going to outscore these teams. It's not really a requirement here in the month of November and December, but it's gotten so bad. The defense has gotten so bad that somehow the greatest offensive rating in league history isn't able to overcome it when it's this bad.
Yeah, there's John Elway's and there's Dan Orlovsky's, right? There's, people who can say, I don't have the bionic arm. I don't have this God-gifted ability to do X, Y, and Z. I've got to make up for that on a clipboard, on a grease board, and really just repetition and practice and earn and claw for every single, skill that I developed that didn't come naturally to me. And, kind of the way that you set the table there for the Nuggets, what the first, cross-sport parallel or analogy that came to mind was the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. Going into the Broncos-Cowboys game, that was the narrative. The league's #1 offense and the league's 32nd ranked defense. And obviously that played out, after the Broncos game, and I'm sure it's held similar to that. But the Dallas Cowboys, for all their offensive firepower and prowess and everything that they've gotten, what are they, 6-6-1? You know what I mean? So there's literal examples. I get it's cross sport, but they're the formula and the path that the Nuggets are kind of exhibiting on both ends of the court. You kind of see already, if it continues, what's going to transpire in terms of water finding its level.
Yeah, I'm very interested because this team should not need a wake-up call. They should not need a wake-up call. You're out to prove something. You haven't won a championship in years. You've gone out in the playoffs in embarrassing fashion in different ways for 2 straight years now. And goodness gracious, a coach has been fired. A general manager has been fired. Your team has been retooled. And here we are, the first, 25 games of the season. It's like, how? How is this happening? And I'm seeing the big fella is not happy.
No.
But he's not, above reproach either. There's things with Jokic and his approach to these games and his level of accountability that, he has
historically been, and you've seen it as good as me, he has historically been one to where if he feels like that light is not coming at the end of the tunnel, that he'll just not mail it in, but he knows, hey, we're not going to be able to come back from this. Hey, this is not our night, and kind of reacts and emotes accordingly.
Well, we'll see what version of this team we get tonight. I believe that this team's going to come out and win by double figures tonight. All right. Now, I don't know if Jamal Murray's going to play. That's going to be a big deal.
He didn't play last time.
And so he did not play last time.
Neither did Aaron Gordon.
And what happened? Do you remember?
Was it you had a chunky Jokic triple-double.
34, 14, and 14 in a 17-point win. This is a bad Pacers team. Go take care of business. They have 4 wins on the season.
I think you got a good Tim Hardaway game in there, too.
Correct. He had 17 points off the bench, I want to say. All right, we'll see what happens later this evening. Bo Nix has a split personality that makes him a cross between MVP Josh Allen and 2022 Russell Wilson. Quite literally. And we'll explain coming up next.
Have the Denver Broncos proven they're capable of making a deep playoff run?
If you can be successful in one-score games, if you can find ways to win different games, fourth-quarter comebacks, overtime wins, putting a complete game together, 60 minutes of offensive football, that's what the Broncos have done. They've shown us 5-6 different ways they can win a football game so that you get to yourself in a playoff scenario.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Visit our Denver Clearance Center during our Black Friday sale going on now. Save up to 75% on name brand appliances like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, GE, and Bosch. With unbeatable prices on top quality appliances, now is the perfect time to upgrade your home. Don't miss out on these exclusive deals. Visit us today at the Denver Clearance Center. When you think appliances, think Mountain High Appliance. Open 7 days a week.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
Do you owe more on your car than it's worth? Don't miss the payoff reduction event at O'Mara Ford. Here's how it works. If your payoff's $17,000 at O'Mara Ford, it becomes $6,000. If your payoff's $14,000 at O'Mara, it becomes $3,000. If your payoff's $11,000 at O'Mara, it becomes $0. Or save thousands with 0% financing 72 months. Let O'Mara Ford reduce your payoff up to $11,000. Stock SUA 05503. Must qualify for all rebates.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The holidays will be here before you know it, and for many families, that means excitement, but also stress. Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to my friends at American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At 303 Law 4040, we know getting into an accident stinks, and so does getting worked over by the insurance company or even your slick-talking made-for-TV lawyer. So if we can help, just give us a call. 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at wistaracu.com.
Leading off with a big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you on a hump day, December 3rd. Phillip Lindsay, a little under the weather today, so he is not here. We got Richie Carney filling in. Fun first hour. We'll pay off the tease here in just a second, talking about Bo Nix having a split personality. All right. Sean Payton addressing the media after practice. We'll hear from him pretty shortly. Real quick, though, before we get to the Bo Nix split personality stuff, you talk about like a sign of getting older or just like talking to a young person who doesn't have a frame of reference that you do.
Yep.
Here in the last commercial break, we work with a guy. He's a part of our promotions department, Joey Freeberg. Am I saying that right, Freeberg?
Correct.
Yeah. Good kid. I like Joey a lot. And so he comes over on this side of the building, and he talks sports and has done some stuff for us digitally.
Correct.
And Pac-Man Jones' name came up because Vance Joseph was on a podcast recently with Peter Schrager.
Yep.
And Schrager like gave him the floor of like, hey, who's like your favorite player like that you've ever coached? It was I'm paraphrasing, but it was some sort of teeing him up like that. And Vance was like, man, Pac-Man Jones.
All right.
And now when VJ was in Cincinnati and Pac-Man was at the peak of his football powers, I mean, he was a really good player. But Pac-Man is not known, unfortunately for him, he is not known as a football player first. You know, Pac-Man Jones was one of the more divisive and controversial figures in the NFL during his time. And we're just having a conversation here during the break about VJ, bringing him up and in that podcast. And our guy Joey, who's like in his young 20s.
Yeah, early 20s.
And he's like, Pac-Man Jones. He's like, Pac-Man Jones. Not ringing a bell. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how am I talking to someone in a workplace who doesn't know who Pac-Man Jones is? Like, I don't know if I lose respect for him, Joey, I'm talking about, or just like a sign of the times that like, yeah, not everyone's going to understand the references from, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think he one of the things he goes, well, what did he play? 2003, and Pac-Man was drafted in 2005. But you start to put the math up against the birth certificate, and you're like, oh, so he was drafted right around the time Joey was born.
Right.
So,
Right.
So when Pac-Man Jones was out of the NFL for 2 of his first 5 seasons as a pro, Joey was in diapers. So the legend being born of Pac-Man Jones was over somebody in that age, demographics head to a certain degree, unless you sought it out, I guess.
Crazy. Dante, you got anything on this? I saw your face next to the microphone, and you were laughing at this because it was just, we're all like having a laugh. Like, how do you not know who Pac-Man Jones is?
Broncos legend.
I was just going to say, Vance Joseph brought him back on his last legs. I think 2018. I think was the year, and there is. I'll say this.
I wonder if he drove because airports work like a touchy thing there for a little bit.
He did get in a fist fight that was caught on camera at the airport. He was such a character. And there are. I'll just say it like this. How about this for a future tease? Not for today. There is a story about Pac-Man Jones as a Denver Bronco that has not seen the light of day yet.
Okay.
And there will be a time. There will be a time, and it will be told at some point here on the drive. And the statute of limitations has passed. But I'm telling you, like, there's a something that happened in Denver sports during Pac-Man's time that if I said it, everyone would know the reference. But there's a story within the story about Pac-Man that we'll get to at some point in 2026 after the moratorium passes. Phil's got to be here, but it hasn't all seen the light of day.
Peter Schrager is bookmarking this right now.
Yes.
Future podcast.
Bo Nix has a split personality that makes him a cross between MVP Josh Allen and somehow 2022 Russell Wilson. Okay? And I'm stealing that analogy from Andrew Mason, who wrote those words at DenverSports.com. Okay? Hang with us here. In the last 2 minutes of each half and overtime this season, Bo Nix has a passer rating of 100. That places him 6th among 31 eligible quarterbacks.
Pretty good.
Okay? If you're just isolating the last 2 minutes of every half and overtime. 6th passer rating in the NFL. At all other points of the game, Nick's passer rating drops 17 points to 83, which would place him 26th. This sort of contrast is wild, okay? The 20-spot difference from his passer rating of 6th in the last 2 minutes of any half or overtime, and then all of the points in the game being 26th, that 20-spot difference in ranking in those points of the game, it's the second highest differential in the NFL, believe it or not, after only Geno Smith, who's got even starker contrast, which I would not have.
I was going to say, is that under the exact same parameters? Like Geno Smith,
exact same parameters,
in the final 2 minutes of a game and or overtime is better than 6th, or at a minimum is maybe his beginnings are better than Bo, but he's equal or close to it.
Yes.
Because I was like, I could see that being the inverse. Like if Geno Smith was really, really bad for the majority of the game, or vice versa, I should say, really good, and then falls apart.
Exactly.
Because the Raiders are bad.
Right.
You know, but that's crazy if that's the exact same parameters.
It is the exact same parameters. So Bo Nix, okay, has the second biggest drop off or drop up, depending on how you want to look at it. There's the last 2 minutes of halves.
Drop up.
Right.
I like
right?
it.
Because you're terrible.
Right.
And then in the last 2 minutes of the first half, last 2 minutes of the second half, and overtime, you become quite literally a top 10 quarterback. But when in the other moments, which is way more moments than the last 2 minutes of halves and overtime, you are not in the top 25 of quarterback ranking. It is very hard to find more stark contrast over the course of a season, this late into the season, than what we've seen from Bo Nix.
Even J.J. McCarthy thinks that's a bad alter ego comparison there.
Yes.
That's not even 9.
It's not 9. It's not 9.
It's 10.
Which is what J.J. calls himself. It's pretty incredible. And going back to the wording and the tease, Andrew Mason basically said, in so many ways, given this sort of contrast, Bo Nix is Josh Allen. According to passer rating, he's basically Josh Allen in the final 2 minutes of halves and overtime, and he is basically 2022 Russell Wilson in the other moments of the game by passer rating. So this is why Bo Nix is not just debated within Denver sports, he's debated nationally, because how you want to see Bo, how you choose to view Bo, you can argue whatever argument you want, really. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to say that, man, he is not that good of a quarterback, because for most of the game, for really, I mean, I don't know what the minutes would be, last 2 minutes of each half, so 4 of the 60 minutes, he's incredible. But the other 56 minutes, he's not a top 25 quarterback in the NFL by passer rating. Like, you can sort of argue how you want to argue it and make it make sense.
And I'll give further credit to Mace. I'll use another one of his analogies or headlines at DenverSports.com, because after that game against the Commanders on Sunday night, Mace literally said, hey, whatever your stance is on Bo Nix, tonight's game proved you right. You know, if you are in the camp that says Bo Nix really is the quarterback he is for 56 minutes of a 60-minute game, there was evidence to support that. But as has become commonplace in their 9-game win streak that they're currently riding, that other 4 minutes of Bo Nix, and in Sunday night's case extended into overtime, was again very prevalent and the reason why they won.
Correct. So, and you'll hear people say, and I'm not saying it's unfair to say, because it actually is very much in bounds, I'd rather have the guy who's the best version of himself when the game is on the line in the highest leverage moments. I think I would too. But it's also fair to say the other 56 minutes matter. And like, this is not healthy. to be a top 6 quarterback in the last 2 minutes and not a top 25 quarterback by quarterback rating, which isn't my favorite, but this is the parameters we're using here today because that's what Mace was using. It's, there's got to be some life in between these two things because this is, you talk about boom or bust. You're booming when you want to boom the most, but goodness gracious, it's not healthy.
Inherently, this dynamic and the split between these two with the gap between them, it is the makeup of a perfect would you rather question, which, traditionally speaking, those are two very undesirable outcomes that you have to hypothetically tell someone to choose between. So obviously the answer is hey, I want the guy that's nails when the lights are the brightest and somebody who inherently within themselves does not shrink in the moment when called upon, but you'd prefer to have to do it without the preamble that you normally get with 2025 Bo Nix. So obviously I agree with you. I think that's the choice. But you got to take the baby with the bathwater. You know what I mean? You have to have one with the other in this case. In this case.
Right now, to date. Yeah.
Right. And so I'll ask you kind of the same question I've been asking myself, which is because everything I'm viewing now with the 2025 Denver Broncos is through the lens of the fact that this team is in position to make a Super Bowl run. Whether they will, whether they won't, is to be determined. But they absolutely can. With what they've put on paper through 3 months of a season and the way they've positioned themselves in the AFC with everybody around them, and the fact that there's not really a team that you just inherently trust with your heart and your mortgage and your soul in the AFC right now, they're in position to do it. It's just a matter of will they or won't they. So with this Josh Allen or 2022 Russell Wilson, Bo Nix, dynamic that's played forth, do you envision the Broncos being able to win a Super Bowl with that kind of Bo?
Yeah. I go back and forth on this. Ultimately, where I'll land, because of the run game, because of the lack of run game and the step back without J.K. Dobbins, it's been rough for 2 straight weeks, and I don't know how much better it's going to get or it can get.
I agree.
Unfortunately. So if you had asked me that same question 3 weeks ago before the Dobbins injury,
right?
I think I would say this current version of Bo Nix is good enough to win a Super Bowl because you have this elite defense and a top 5 running back and a top 10 run game in general. Without that dynamic of the run game, Bo is going to need to be better. And I don't think anyone should get their feelings hurt by me saying that. I think it's very fair, and it's great that Bo Nix has the quality that he does to rise in these moments. But my fear is that the Broncos will get the wrong matchup in whether it's the wild card, divisional, or the AFC championship game. And again, these are champagne problems because they put themselves in such an incredible position.
Correct.
So we have to remind ourselves of that. I have to remind myself of that. But because of this new dynamic that I feared was coming, he's going to have to be better. I
think it's hard to disagree with. And yeah, the loss of J.K. Dobbins does shake up the game board pretty significantly for the makeup of the Broncos offense and their ability to essentially capitalize on their defense being able to keep games close late in these situations and allow them to kind of spring forward. And we've heard that from the Jonathan Coopers and the Nick Bonitos of, hey, we feel like if we can keep as a unit this game tight enough and close enough, that Bo and those guys are going to go win it for us. And J.K. Dobbins was a huge part of helping them do that. Now, they've found ways to be good enough without J.K. Dobbins. They were good enough against Kansas City to beat them. They were good enough against the Raiders and good enough in a tight game against the Commanders. And there is kind of a question that I battle back and forth of hey, we have this conversation after every Broncos win of hey, it wasn't great,
I know,
but it was good enough.
I know.
And at what point is good enough just good enough?
No,
they're good enough to keep doing it.
No, for sure. But also, like Sean says, yeah, we're winning games, but man, there is a lot to clean up here. And again, champagne problems, rich people problems. You're 10-2, but for those of us who are in the trenches with the team and watch these games, there is still a lot to be desired. And some of that conversation, some, not all, but some does have to do with Bo. And, I'm seeing on the RamosLaw.com text line, he's a second-year quarterback, for crying out loud. Hey, we got it.
Of course.
But these conversations are important. Why? Because they're in a Super Bowl window right now.
The stakes could not be more real.
It could not be more real. And he plays the most important position on the football field. So going back to the research from Andrew Mason, which is the reason why we're having this conversation, when you have a quarterback who for 56 of the 60 minutes of a game is not in the top 25 of starting quarterbacks by passer rating, that's like, it's okay to discuss that and be critical and lift the hood and examine what's going on here. Thankfully, Bo is a top 6 quarterback by passer rating in the last 2 minutes.
Correct.
But to think that it is just some birthright that you're going to always find yourself in a position where you're going to be able to go win the game, like that's not how this that's just not a birthright here.
I'll give him credit. I had Jake Shapiro on my show earlier this week, and he made an analogy that I thought was kind of clever as it relates to the Broncos offense. He said the Broncos offense this season is sitting at a blackjack table and holding with 19 every hand. 19's a good hand in blackjack. There's only a handful that can beat you. But eventually the dealer's going to hit blackjack. Or you're going to need better than that to win, or you know what I mean? And so the Broncos have made it to where they've made it kind of scraping by, or I guess you could even make the analogy that they're showing 12 and they're just hitting 2, 3, 5, and they're just inching their way forward and it's just good enough. But eventually another team's going to have a better hand, and you're going to have to elevate your game to match that and or beat it. And if that happens in the regular season, okay, maybe it happens against a good Packers defense and a Jordan Love that's kind of Jekyll and Hyde but been more Jekyll lately. Or maybe it happens in the postseason when it's win or go home, and that really amps up the pressure. But the point is, it's going to come at some point, and it's just kind of measuring win.
Yep. And look, you can point to Sunday Night Football, because this was a one-possession game. This was a 6-point game. Broncos were leading 20-14. Nix throws the pick where he doesn't see Bobby Wagner, right? Opportunity to respond. It was the next 3 possessions were punts. And 2 of the 3 next possessions after the pick were 3-and-outs. And you find yourself against Washington where you're asking the defense to once again sort of bail you out. Problem is, the defense didn't this time. There's 3 minutes to play, and Mariota, this is Marcus Mariota, and the Commanders moved 71 yards on 18 plays and set up that game-tying field goal. They overcame a 3rd and 25. They converted a 4th down. They had 2 shots at scoring a touchdown before settling for a short field goal. And then when Denver did score in overtime, which seemed almost effortless on that, 3-play drive, 4-play drive, whatever it was, the Broncos defense had a chance to close the deal. And by technically they did, but Mariota marched his team down the field, scoring a touchdown after an 11-play, 65-yard drive. And while that was happening, the Broncos allowed a 4th down conversion again. They gave up a 38-yard completion on a 3rd and 14. So, if you're going to continuously ask your defense to bail you out, and I shouldn't say continuously because they did their part in overtime, but it's got to it's been good enough, but through the lens of a Super Bowl lens, I think it's okay to say that, hey, it's still got to get better. And by the way, that's what they're saying as well.
Yeah.
That's what the Broncos are saying.
They don't shy away from it at all, and I think that's a healthy level of self-awareness from them. On that overtime drive that you mentioned, by the way, Bo Nix, 4 for 4, 71 yards. There's your Josh Allen.
Yep. There's your MVP Josh Allen.
And I think it has been interesting when you're kind of dissecting this Broncos offense, and I'll give credit to our guy, Ryan Koenigsberg. He put it out there on social media after the game. The Broncos have done a good job, really good job, almost like elite level job, playing from behind.
Yep.
And when a game is tied. But they have done a horrific job, unlike their partner atop the AFC, the New England Patriots, of playing with a lead. They do not manage it well. And the stat that backs it up is there have been 19 possessions this season immediately following a score that put them behind in a game, where the Broncos fell behind in a game. And on those drives, immediately after they fall behind, Bo Nix completes 70% of his passes for 457 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yep.
Scoring drives in 9 occasions.
So that, like, we know it's there. We see it. So how do you extrapolate it over the course of a game? And that's probably, considering where the run game is at without J.K. Dobbins, you're going to need to put it together throughout a game. And
maybe it's just a case where you need Josh Allen in the final 4 minutes of halves
instead
and
of 2.
Overtime instead of 2.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be. You don't have to completely inverse it and be Josh Allen for 3.7 quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be a better Bo. Just be a better Bo for 4 quarters and not have to put the cape on with 2 minutes left. It's good that you have that capability, but again, through a Super Bowl lens, it needs to get a little bit better. And again, this is what they're saying as well. On the RamosLaw.com text line, Bo Nix is a pedestrian quarterback on a very good day. This will pan out over the next couple years. People on your station saying that they would choose him over Drake May are dumb. Look. Let's not get carried away. Bo Nix has been really good. He is in his second year. He's accumulating some of the most wins in NFL history.
He's the first to 20 in his draft class.
That's right. And he touches the ball in every play. So again, perfect? No. But don't let perfection be the enemy of really good. Bo has been really good. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But we're talking about room for improvement on a 10-2 team.
Correct. And again, and I said this the same way that when people were ready to just bring the clown hammer down on Sean Payton, and there was mounting frustration in that, and some of it had to do with the Russell Wilson era of things as well, where it's like, hey guys, do we remember what the head coaching dynamic was in Denver for the last 8 years since Kubiak walked out the door? It's been rough.
Yeah.
There was a Nathaniel Hackett era.
Oh, yeah.
There was a Vic Fangio tenure. VJ's first time as a head coach did not go very well. Do we remember the revolving door, the carousel graphic at quarterback
of course.
Before Bo Nix showed up here in town?
Of course.
So it's okay to say that there's areas of improvement for Bo Nix. There's frustrations, there's deficiencies, there's things that are puzzling that need to improve if the Broncos are going to win a Super Bowl. Not, hey, there's things that have to get better if the Broncos are going to win 5, 6, 7 games this season the way it was with so many quarterbacks before it. So, again, to not let perfection get in the way or be the enemy of really good, things have been really good compared to the recent historical past.
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me?
It's yeah.
But also, you also don't want to come in here and say, there's no room for improvement, right? Like the Broncos are in such a incredible position at 10-2 to think that they could get significantly better by just extrapolating the quarterback play throughout the 60 minutes or maybe even just one half of football and start there. It's actually encouraging. Like, these are healthy conversations ultimately.
I think it's an admission in and of itself that things are going great because we're having this conversation. Outside of Sean Payton and Cecil Lammey, Sean Payton who put it out there publicly and Cecil Lammey who echoed it from the rooftop, the fact that the Broncos are in virtual pole position in the AFC with this back-and-forth tiebreaker thing with the Patriots to be the number 1 seed in the AFC and can put themselves 2 home playoff games away from a Super Bowl, so few people, myself included, thought we'd even be here.
Correct.
So the fact that we're analyzing it through this lens now and accepting, hey, we didn't think that before, but with new eyes and new evaluation comes new opinion, they're here now. And so I think the fact that we're even talking about it in this way, or maybe quote-unquote scrutinizing over certain things that could be better despite how good things have been, is a positive admission of the fact that things are great.
It is. It's how much better can they get so they can win the Super Bowl? Like, that's at the nucleus of this conversation.
In year 2.
Pretty cool. While absorbing the largest dead cap in NFL history.
Right. Russell Wilson still the Broncos' biggest cap hit on their roster.
Insane. Okay, I have some bad news on the Denver Nuggets landscape front. We'll pass it along coming up next.
Is Alex Singleton playing his way toward Broncos immortality?
He signed a 1-year, $1 million contract, and then all he does is goes on to set the single-season tackle record, and then he blows out his ACL. He comes all the way back, gets flagged for cancer, and then 23 days later, he's back making big plays for the Broncos? This guy is a legend in my book. He is becoming a Denver Broncos legend.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
All right. As you know, winter is here, Denver. And Hermes Worldwide is your ride to all action. Whether you're bundling up to cheer on the Broncos at Empower Field or heading downtown to catch the Avs on the ice or the Nuggets on the court, make sure you get there on time and in style. This holiday season, let Hermes Worldwide handle all the Christmas light tours, festive nights out, and stress-free airport transfers. Leave the traffic and icy parking lots to somebody else. Hermes Worldwide has you covered with their championship-level transportation. Picture this. You and your crew rolling up to the stadium in a sleek, heated vehicle, no parking hassles. No driving worries, just a professional driver ready to get you to and from the game safely. Sounds great, right? Then give them a call today at 303-577-7600 or visit ridehermes.com/DenverSports. Again, give them a call at 303-577-7600 or visit ridehermes.com/DenverSports to book your next ride today.
More fiber and laxatives, eh? Who are you? I'm future you. Future me? Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Advent Health is Littleton's home for highly specialized, life-changing heart care. From preventive screenings to personalized treatment options, it's heartfelt care from expert hands. The Advent Health Heart and Vascular Institute is now open, ready to provide wholehearted care for your whole health.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for Mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop our Black Friday event for up to 65% off in-store or at hellsberg.com.
Planning out your holiday pictures? Let's move you to the front because it's Soda Weight Loss. You could drop the belly fat and gain your confidence back, just like Ramon.
I used to dread those pictures. I'd position myself behind someone taller or make sure I was holding a plate so nobody focused on my belly. But that was before soda. Soda gave me more than a smaller waistline. It gave me back the confidence to wear what I want. And they make it simple. No injections, no hunger, just a plan that works.
Soda Weight Loss is built for busy people like you.
I lost 82 pounds in just 16 weeks. No hunger, no drugs, just steady, real-life progress with the nutritionist who helps you every step of the way.
That's why Soda has nearly 9,000 Google reviews. And right now, the most popular offer of the season is back. Join today, and your partner joins free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
For the fitness fanatic on your Christmas list, save big this holiday season. At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Brandon Stokely here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Cold weather's coming fast. Do you have a game plan for winter? If your heating system is more suited for the bench, now is the best time to upgrade your system with the best pricing of the year. Take advantage of tax credits and energy rebates before they run out. Only from my team at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
A lot of personal injury lawyers make claims about how good they are. But how do you know who's the best? Who will fight to get you the money you deserve? At Berg Simpson, we don't rely on simple claims like other firms. We have 27 best lawyers in America, 17 super lawyers, and we're one of the National Trial Lawyers' top 25 most influential law firms. Compare us to other firms, then call Berg Simpson.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Colorado's favorite appliance store is celebrating huge savings during our Black Friday sale going on now. Hi, I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Craft your dream kitchen and save up to $4,400 on select KitchenAid appliance packages. Enjoy a special financing and our price match guarantee with exclusive offers you won't find at big box stores. Visit us today and experience the difference. When you think appliances, think Mountain High Appliance.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you. Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors. Enjoy holiday savings of 20% off your windows or siding project. That's right, premium craftsmanship, stunning curb appeal, and energy efficiency. Visit 5280exteriors.com today. The altitude of quality.
Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at WistaraCU.com.
Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, the Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, let's come off the top rope with it. 1. All righty. So I got to share some context that is just, it's just a reality of the landscape in the NBA right now. What we're seeing from the Oklahoma City Thunder is historic by definition, okay? Right now, Oklahoma City they played 22 games. They are now 21-1. They have won 13 consecutive games. They are winning by an average of over 15 points per game. Whether Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays in the fourth quarter is a literal coin flip on a night-to-night basis. He's played in half of them. He sat half of them. Man, the Thunder, with the context in NBA history, only 4 teams ever have started a season with 21 wins through 22 games. Every single one of them went to the NBA Finals. There is no precedent that says, well, there's this one year where, no, it's 4 for 4. Well, it's just really hard to do. The only other times that we've seen it is the 2015-16 Warriors were 22-0. All right, that's the team that ended up losing in Game 7 to the LeBron James Cavs. And what's the context there? Who got hurt? Kevin Durant. Wasn't that the year he who popped?
That was the year that Draymond got suspended.
Draymond got suspended
in the middle of the series.
Comeback from the Cavs. Yes, they won. You know, Kyrie with the shot.
Yep,
unbelievable.
Biggest Game 7 shot in the history of NBA basketball. And Draymond, man, he'll he's got a lot of championships. He'll go to the Hall of Fame, but that was just nuts. Mm-hmm. The other time it happened where a team was 21-1 after 22 games. The 93-94 Rockets, who went on to win the NBA Finals over the New York Knicks. That's Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, young Kenny the Jet Smith, Sam Cassell. The other time it happened, 1969-70 Knicks were 21-1. They won the NBA Finals over the Los Angeles Lakers, and here it's happening for the, again, 4th time ever. So I guess the 3 other times it's happened, they went at least went to the NBA Finals. In 2 of the 3 cases, they won the NBA Finals. Man, it's just...
It's unbelievable.
You have to acknowledge what you're up against. You can't have your head in the sand.
And Zach, the Thunder they're not even plateauing. They're still on the upswing. The crescendo is coming.
Yep.
Their young core is still developing and growing. This championship season was definitely like a hardening, maturing kind of moment for them. But they've paid some of their young stars. They've got draft picks that they're still paying off from their fire sale with Russ and Harden and KD.
Correct.
They're going to have a lottery pick in all likelihood this upcoming year because of the Clippers.
If the draft was tonight, they would have the 5th overall pick in the draft. And they also have a pick from Utah that would also be in the lottery.
It's funny, we were talking, I think Jake Shapiro and I were talking about the Nuggets and how it's a race for second in the West, right? And now, hopefully, because of these injuries, maybe you're hoping it doesn't slip into a race for third or fourth. But I was even trying to rationalize with myself, like, hey, if the Oklahoma City Thunder, the vaunted Thunder, were missing 3 key starters around SGA, I don't know that we'd necessarily be seeing some of the dominance and success. But I actually think they might be the exception to that rule. They're already sitting significant stretches of games, and they're so deep, running 10, 11 plus deep in a postseason rotation, that they may be the exception to that rule of like, hey, they could be down 3 starters and still be dominating the way that they are.
Well, to your point, they not 3 starters, but they've been missing their All-NBA second best player, Jalen Williams.
Yep.
He just came back. He's played in 3 games. So they got out to this lead without J-Dub, who is just, incredible and really just came into his own last year, truly. But yeah, it's daunting, man. That's why you see the approach from the Nuggets, who you think would be the hungriest team, try to get back to that spot, look so disinterested in playing defense when that team just won the championship. And if any team has the right to start a season slowly with a bit of a hangover, it's Oklahoma City Thunder, and they're the 4th ever team in NBA history to be 21 wins after 22 games. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. We'll see what we're in store for later today against the Pacers.
1, 2.
Man, did you see Chris Paul and the Clippers parted ways?
This is weird.
Yeah, man. Reports were that CP3 and Ty Lue were not on speaking terms. And Paul's leadership style and, vocally holding management and coaches and players, it clashed, man. It clashed.
It's funny when you see that, like, hey, that reports are CP3 and Ty Lue were not on speaking terms. You would think that would come from Chris Paul because of the context you added there, that he was being very vocal and outspoken and critical of players and coaches and members of the organization, that Chris Paul would be like, hey, no, I'm not interested in talking to you. But the reports actually suggested the opposite, that Chris Paul apparently, reportedly, allegedly, tried to set a meeting to talk with Ty Lue, and Ty Lue was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So the non-speaking terms actually came from the Clippers toward Chris Paul because of, apparently, their feelings toward his behavior.
Very interesting. NBA legend, there's no doubt about it, but he's 40 years old, and, this is...
Zach, the Clippers put out, their team put out a social media thing, like, Chris Paul is going to finish his career at home. So in a weird way, they actually followed through on it. We just thought they meant at home, like as a Clipper. They meant no, literally at your house.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be at the crib.
Crazy. And you want to know what the thing is? Chris Paul was really good for San Antonio last year. Really good. Like, he was a floor general for that team.
Complimentary piece to Wemby.
Yeah, and what they needed for that young upstart team. And, just a really, really bad fit returning to where he played for so long in his 20s. Next in the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we talked about the following topic on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and during this segment. And we brought up Kansas City at Dallas, okay? And I remember saying, I said, hey, could this be like the most watched regular season game in NFL history, okay? And I'm like, let's all...
round the horn.
Guess, the rating that this thing would pull. I want to say I said like 35 million people, something like that. I think our highest guess was in the 40s. Yeah, not quite. Kansas City at Dallas on Thanksgiving drew 57 million viewers.
That's insane.
The single most watched regular season game in the history of the sport.
And it's a Rob Walton style win where they cleared it by so much that they almost beat the record by the number of an NFL viewership game. By 15 million people, they cleared the record. I honestly had to do a double take. Zach, you're approaching 50% of Super Bowl viewership at $57 million. There's about 120
57 million
or 57 million people. Sorry.
Yeah. That's what you could probably charge for a spot at the Super Bowl if this is
right around there for the E-Trade baby.
Oh my God!
But yeah, about 120 million watch a Super Bowl, around 120, 130, and you're basically halfway there on the middle game of a Thanksgiving slate on a holiday that's family oriented, all that.
Just insane. Dante, you wrote down our guesses. Just how far off were we on this?
So the highest guess we had was Phil with 39 million.
Wow.
The lowest guess we had was me with 30, so we were not close.
Yeah, but even what was mine? Was it 35?
You had 35.
Okay, so like if it was 35, that would have been approaching the most watched regular season
game. It would have been right around there
of all time.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close. Wow. All right, could we look back at today being one of the more important days in the history of the Colorado Rockies? We'll have that conversation coming up next.
Does David Adelman need to take a page from his predecessor's playbook?
When you look and listen to David Adelman, do you feel like you are looking and listening at a guy that's going to be able to get on guys and do so in a way that they're going to respond? Malone could be intimidating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can Adelman get the message across when the effort is bad?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. The new center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So, I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone, too. For my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with, hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile! The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end in balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
At Postman Law, we're not your typical injury firm. Our lawyers have won at the U.S. Supreme Court, gone head-to-head with giants like Uber and Amazon, and recovered billions for clients. When you've been injured, having a right lawyer matters. PostmanLaw.com. Others promise. Postman delivers.
Call 844-POSTMAN. Attorney advertising.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-944-33, 720-944-33. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-944-33.
Peyton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At Common Spirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at Common Spirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry is proud to announce that we are Denver's authorized dealer for Norcane watches, the official luxury watch of the NHL. With every purchase of a Norcane watch, you'll receive a free Wolf Winder, a $400 value, while supplies last. Family owned like Matthews, Norcane is dedicated to crafting innovative, high-quality Swiss watches with over 4 decades of heritage in the industry, pushing boundaries and embracing innovation.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry in the Highlands Ranch Town Center and at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
Catch Telestrator Tuesday weekly on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, where Stink or Stoke dive into the past weekend's games with a coach's eye, using insights into what went right and wrong on critical plays. Telestrator Tuesdays, powered by Colorado Credit Union. Love where you live, love where you bank.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss, presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, hanging out with you here on a hump day. No Phillip Lindsay today. Richie Carney filling in. Could we look back at today being one of the more important days in the history of the Colorado Rockies? And I'm being literal. Now, I'm not calling my shot that it will be, but it does live within reality. After today, we have the organizational realignment that I was hoping for with the Rockies. Now, the Paul DePodesta thing, like, I was hoping they reached outside the organization. They reached outside the sport itself. You know, okay, don't feel great about it, but I asked for something. They gave it to me. And then now today, Paul DePodesta has hired his right-hand man. Former D-backs and Padres general manager, Josh Burns, will be the new general manager here for the Rockies. He's 55 years old. He is a 4-time World Series champion, all right, who wasn't just the general manager, but also ran baseball operations. That's DePodesta's role for both the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Now, I say for World Series, most of that hardware comes here in the last decade with the Dodgers, serving as Andrew Friedman's right-hand man for over a decade. He was previously, because there's got to be some Rockies tie. There's got to be some form of Rockies insulation. He was previously the assistant GM of the Rockies, hired by Dan O'Dowd way back in 1999. He left this organization in 2003 to go be the assistant general manager of who? The Boston Red Sox. And if that sounds like, hey, wasn't there something going on around that time? Yeah. He won his first World Series when the Red Sox won their first World Series going back to 1918.
Broke the curse.
So he was obviously a late arrival to the buildup of that team. But this guy knows what a championship team looks like and has some real, like, Major League Baseball experience.
I did. I was asking Mike Evans that question that you kind of alluded to, right? There's always got to be some kind of insular tie there. I said, does that tarnish it at all? You know, like, hey, he wasn't most recently with them, but he was with them, and it's just like Rockies fans are triggered, right? Because it's been so, like, promote from within, and we can't go outside the bubble. It's almost cult-like in that aspect. But my answer to that, and Mike's as well, was like, no, this is a good hire.
It is,
Zach. This is a move that like, Mike went so far as to say, he's like, hey, the Paul DePodesta thing was good. This is great.
Yeah,
this is
agreed.
going to be
Agreed.
His familiarity with the NL West, the way that he's made the rounds, had prominent roles, and everywhere he's gone within that NL West, if you just want to look at it in that microcosm, the development of the farm system, the drafting, and the ability to acquire talent is evident, and it's there.
Well, I love this hire, man, and this is, and it's not a perfect analogy, and analogies aren't meant to be perfect, but I feel about this hire the same way I feel about Jim Mora being hired at CSU. It's like, yes, this is a real dude who has done some real stuff at this level. And I think this is a home run, pardon the pun. His work in Boston, which, by the way, you got to remember, he's working for Theo Epstein at the time. Theo Epstein is one of the greatest minds that the game of baseball has ever seen.
Carries a pretty big stick.
I mean, it's unbelievable, okay? Back in 2005, in an interview with the Boston Globe, all right, Theo Epstein said of this hire, Josh Burns, said, quote, he's a key voice in player personnel. He's got as much a feel for evaluating and statistical analysis as anyone in baseball, end quote. He gets the GM job with the Diamondbacks, where he led the club to the 2007 NL West crown. All right, and we know the D-backs at the time were one of the few like lower third payroll teams to win a division here in recent memory. So doing more with less, basically what I'm trying to say, which he might be tasked to do here in Colorado. This is a guy in Josh Burns that drafted Max Scherzer, drafted Paul Goldschmidt, drafted A.J. Pollock, drafted Adam Eaton. All right, now for full context, he did trade Scherzer before he,
to the Tigers, and they went on and won
Correct. So he traded him before he became a star, but he also identified him as a talent.
Sure.
So I think he gets a certain level of credit for that for sure. When he was in San Diego, all right, now that team was going through ownership changes, and it was not a great situation, but he still landed Trey Turner, Max Fried, Hunter Renfroe, Zach Eflin. So, and those were all through the draft. So, and then in Los Angeles, he has built one of the best farm systems in the entire landscape of Major League Baseball.
And that gets lost when you're talking about the Dodgers, right? Because the narrative around the Dodgers is how big their payroll is. They seem to just collect aces from around the league and build this impossible bullpen. They sign these big names in free agency. But the sneaky underrated part that I just don't think people talk about enough is they draft and develop and bring players up through the farm system better than anybody.
Correct.
They're great at it.
They are. So, man, I got to say, I don't want to get carried away because this is, and man, we all need to understand this. This is not a flip this house. That's not how baseball works. This is going to take some time. So if you're looking for like these two, a director of baseball operations and a general manager, it's going to be an add water and stir type of scenario. That's not what this is going to be. And guess what, Richie? I don't need it to be that. Just show me growth.
Yep.
Just show me a newfound professionalism and culture within the organization. Show me you're moving in the right direction. Don't have to be in the left lane. You can be in the slow lane with your hazards on. That's perfectly fine with me, just as long as I'm seeing this organization move in the direction that I think it can.
Absolutely. First of all, what's the adage? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right? And I think you're hoping that the hiring of Paul DePodesta is your first step. Josh Burns is your second step. And I know there were people who, and maybe myself included a little bit, when they saw that the team was retaining Warren Schaefer as the manager, go, okay, great, here we go, more of the same. But in the same way that, like, Greg Penner comes in to the Broncos organization and doesn't immediately just blow things up, I think that given the moves that we've seen, this kind of feels like that, and I agree with you. If we're just talking about incremental steps and movements in the right direction, because let's be honest, the floor can't be much lower than the 2024 Colorado Rockies and even the 2 seasons prior to that. So the bar's pretty low. Just approach it and maybe just clear it by a step year after year after year. And who knows, maybe at some point you hit an acceleration point and things pick up. But for now, I'm really happy with this.
Yep, me too. All right, it's encouraging. If you want to react to this conversation, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. What does Bo Nix saying ahead of what could be the Broncos' 10th straight win. Fresh audio coming up next.
It'll be fine by dusk, but I'm telling you, baby.
There's something in the orange and blue coming to Empower Field next August. Zach Bryan is bringing his With Heaven On tour to the Mile High City, and we want you there.
Let me go.
Download the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app and click on the contest banner to enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the hottest show of the summer.
We're having an all-night revival.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, a new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. When you buy an engagement ring or fine jewelry gift from Shane Company, you get more than what you paid for. Our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. It covers everything. There's no fine print. You'll get unlimited cleanings, resizings, and repairs. Plus, it even protects your engagement ring's center stone. We stand behind the quality of our jewelry, and that's our gift to you this holiday. Peace of mind. Because a friend knows the best things in life are free. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Thinking about buying a home in Colorado? You're not the only one. And now might be your best shot. We're officially in a buyer's market, guys, which means you've got the upper hand. More homes on the market, competition is down, and serious deals are out there just waiting to be found. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade or downsize, now's the time to get pre-approved. And American Financing can make that happen in 24 hours or less. Interest rates are competitive, and home prices have been stable. That means you can find a great deal while locking in a monthly payment that fits your budget. Plus, with home equity building over time, your investment grows, making homeownership a smart, long-term financial decision. If you continue to pay rent, you're just paying your landlord's mortgage, and you don't need 20% down. You could be in your new home with as little as 3% down. Plus, they offer down payment assistance programs to make homeownership even easier. So call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The holidays come with enough stress. Travel, family, keeping up with everything. You shouldn't have to add calling insurance adjusters to the list. At Postman Law, we handle it. The calls, the paperwork, the pushback. We've helped clients recover over $3 billion because when you're hurt, you need a team that knows how to get results. This holiday season, focus on you. We'll take care of the rest. Postman delivers. Call 844-POSTMAN or visit postmanlaw.com.
Attorney advertising.
Ready to find the right candidates for your job posting? Indeed's Sponsored Jobs helps you connect with talent that actually matches what you're looking for. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at wistaracu.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
First half of the show is in the books, and the Broncos just wrapping up practice not long ago. Hearing from Bo Nix, Sean Payton. We'll get to that here in just about 15 seconds or so. We've teamed up with our friends at the Blue Sports Stable in Superior for our Denver Sports Equipment Drive, benefiting a nonprofit that's near and dear to my heart called Recruiting Classroom. Okay, now through December 20th, we're taking donations of gently used or new sports equipment. Most needed items are hockey and ice skates, as well as hockey sticks, football helmets and pads, baseball bats, and lacrosse sticks for drop-off locations, and a full list of needed items. Go ahead and head to DenverSports.com/equipment. That stuff just hanging around in your garage. Someone could really use that. Okay, Sean Payton, Bo Nix. Here is Sean Payton on the signing of wide receiver Elijah Moore to the Broncos practice squad.
Well, look, we had some exposure to him, some experience with some guys on our staff. You know, you're always paying attention to that wire, and if someone comes across it that you feel like either can help now or maybe in the future, I think it was more of us looking at a talented player.
Looking at a talented player. He does have the talent. That's why he was, one of the first handful of receivers picked in his draft. I think it was 2021, I want to say. He was
right around there, yeah.
Second-round pick for the New York Jets. But for whatever reason, just, man, his career has hit some roadblocks, and Brandon Cooks becomes available. Buffalo wants to scoop him up, and here Elijah Moore is, on the street and here in Denver. I told Phil this yesterday or maybe the day before. Best case scenario is, we don't see or hear from Elijah Moore. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, you look at Elijah Moore's, career statistically, and you say, okay, this is like a receiver that's never topped 700 yards in a season, right? And he's coming off of a stint in Buffalo where he was very underutilized. Like, he just wasn't a factor there, and that obviously leads to them making the roster decision that they did. But at the same time, Zach, like, I don't have to scratch my brain that hard to recall Elijah Moore moments in games in Cleveland and in New York where he showed clear playmaking ability. I think I tend to agree with you that the best case scenario is probably that you're not relying upon him all that much, because I truly don't think that the Broncos offense is being stalled or held back by the lack of another body in the wide receiver room. Like, I just don't think that's what it is. And sometimes I think Sean Payton is like the kid who has a birthday on December 2nd, 3 weeks before Christmas, and he has all these toys, and he's like, well, I want more toys for Christmas, but I haven't really found a way to play with all the toys I currently have or use them as much as they should be used. So I agree with you, but I am kind of curious to see on this backstretch of a season where there's opportunities to be had, certainly opposite Cortland Sutton, and we've seen different, mostly Troy Franklin take advantage of it. I'm kind of curious to see how it shakes out and how Sean Payton, if he's got a vision, for what this looks like.
Here's a little bit more from Sean Payton. If they start to find out more about his team right around this time of year.
Yeah, I think it's always funny, and it comes from a lot of the experienced older coaches, but there was always this thing about October, then there was this thing about November, and it's obviously important. We've got 5 real good games ahead of us. As coaches, we try to break the season down. I used to do the quarters, And anymore, it's really the next opponent and the differences with this opponent, the venue, the turf, the surface, crowd noise, like all of those outside things before we even get to the scheme. And so, we didn't play our best game, nearly our best game offensively. It was tough film to watch. Yeah, I think when you get at this stage of the season, clearly these games are important.
They're massively important. This one in particular is like low key or high key, just depending on your level of interest in the Broncos, like massively important because of the commonality opponents with New England. And so, man, if the Broncos were to stub their toe, the way that they almost did just 3 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football, winning 10-7, we would be looking back on this one saying, wow, what a wasted opportunity, a blown opportunity. But I will say this now, and you kind of heard it from Sean there, like that was a tough film to watch. Like if you're a Broncos fan and you don't understand why we're having these constructive and critical conversations, like you're not on the same wavelength as the Broncos. The Broncos have repeatedly said, and you're hearing it from Sean Payton, that was a rough film to watch. It wasn't close to good enough. But that said, thankful that they're 10-2. Massive football game awaits them on Sunday.
It really kind of came to the forefront in that clip that you played, and I continue to kind of be thankful for it because I think it's going to be a big factor in their success and or failure over the backstretch of the season to do what they set out to do. Is, man, that the Sean Payton just mastering in the minor.
Yep.
All the little details he talks about. They're like, hey, I'm not looking at this as a chunk or a spread. I used to do that when I was a younger coach. Now it's like, hey, who's directly in front of me? And then goes through the laundry list of variables, the turf surface, the weather, the this, the that, the injury situation, the trends of their offensive and defensive schemes. How do they do versus this versus that? All those little things that Sean Payton just obsesses over like maniacally with some of these things. I just continue to be thankful that that's the kind of mindset of the person who's puppeteering the strings for the Broncos, because for an offense that has scraped by the skin of their teeth, it's not an exaggeration in my mind to say that some of that preparation is what's helped them be successful in the way that they have.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Sean Payton is, he is good at what he does. He is
ask him.
Just ask him. He's got his quirks. There's no doubt. But man, he is just masterful.
And again, it's one of those things where like, oh, you just ask him. He's got his quirks. He's got his faults. You ask the question about Bo Nix or quarterback A. Would you rather have a quarterback that's Josh Allen in the final 2 minutes, but is shaky and rough for 56, but it ends up in the win column, or the opposite? Give me the quirks and the faults and the shortcomings of a Sean Payton because of what he's also brought in his Louis luggage coming with it to Denver.
Totally. Here's one more from Sean Payton on the difference facing the Raiders now that they have different coordinators.
On offense, look, just having worked against Pete for so many years, there's a certain amount of stress you put on your defense when you're throwing it maybe too, and he wants to establish a running game, and all of that goes into complementary football, time of possession, those type of things. It's one thing I think you can look. Now, I don't, you're still preparing for what you saw last week, what you've been seeing, and then from a kicking game standpoint, the same way. You dive into as much film as you can, and you get your team ready.
All right, well, we trust that Sean will have the Broncos ready for Raiders week. That will be in the first window of games here. I want to say, do I have that right? Just to double check here. Yeah. No. Excuse me. Yeah, I know better than that. Yeah, they're in the second set of games on Sunday. Sunday afternoon. Okay, we'll hear from Bo just a little bit later in today's show, less than an hour from now. We do have some answers on what to expect from the Denver Nuggets availability standpoint for their game against the Pacers tonight. We'll pass along the latest news next.
Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan at Blue Sports Stable in Superior for our Denver Sports Equipment Drive, benefiting Recruiting Classroom. We're taking donations of new or gently used sports equipment through December 20th. Head to denversports.com/equipment for a list of drop-off locations and most needed items. And help us spread some cheer this holiday season.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
It's time to pack the CU Event Center for Colorado basketball. There's an alley-oop to the net. The Buffs are back, and single-game and group tickets are on sale now. Come cheer on your Buffaloes as they take out Big 12 powerhouses like Arizona, Kansas, Texas Tech, and more. Groups of 10 or more can take part in exciting game day experiences. Grab your tickets today at cubuffs.com/tickets or call the CU Athletics ticket office at 303-492-8282.
This is Jeff for Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Greg.
Hi, my name is Greg. I've been a patient of Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic for over 10 years. I noticed that I was really tired. I was lethargic. I didn't sleep really well, and I was overweight. My waist was 4 inches over what it should have been. It was really difficult for me to lose the body shape I didn't like. And of course, my marriage, yes. No man in their 40s wants to have low libido in their marriage. I'm really thankful for this therapy because it just makes me feel the man I want to be, active, at home, everywhere. If you're feeling like I was, call the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today and get checked. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Thanks, Greg. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Here's Denver's champion wide receiver, Benny Fowler, with Shayna and Dylan Williams.
Benny, when you caught that pass for the 2-point conversion at the end of the 2015 World Championship game, did you realize you were making Denver football history?
And that was one of the final historic career passes of one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
No, when you're in the moment, in the flow, you just go. You're trying to execute. It didn't sink in at first, but then it hits you, and then you feel so blessed.
You made Denver football history.
Well, I just did my job. You guys make history every holiday season at Williams Jewelers.
How so, Benny?
Every gift from Williams Jewelers on Christmas morning is historic. I can promise you, they'll never forget it. Friends, this holiday, go see my jeweler, Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, and you will make a little history too. And hey, tell them Benny sent you.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, on the corner of Bellevue and Broadway, where Colorado shines.
For the fitness fanatic on your Christmas list, save big this holiday season. At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. We have the nation's lowest prices on the best equipment money can buy. We carry true treadmills. They are the smoothest, quietest, and best warranty treadmills ever built for the home. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose, from the safety and comfort of your own home. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Hey guys, it's Zach By here. This holiday season, give your home the gift of beauty and comfort with 50-80 Exteriors. For a limited time, enjoy 20% off your windows or siding project. That's right, premium craftsmanship, stunning curb appeal, and energy efficiency. All at a holiday savings you can't miss. Call 5280 Exteriors today or visit 5280exteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality. Don't wait, this offer ends soon.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line.
But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Brandon Stokely here for Colorado's hometown HVAC team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Is your heating system struggling to perform and need to be traded? It has never been easier to get a quote for a new heating system. Rocks Heating and Air offers a free online heating and cooling quoting system so that you can quickly and accurately get pricing on a new system only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Advent Health is Littleton's home for highly specialized, life-changing heart care. From preventive screenings to personalized treatment options, it's heartfelt care from expert hands. The Advent Health Heart and Vascular Institute is now open, ready to provide wholehearted care for your whole health.
At 303 Law 4040, we know getting into an accident stinks, and so does getting worked over by the insurance company or even your slick-talking made-for-TV lawyer. So if we can help, just give us a call. 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Joel Klatt, the nation's leading voice in college football, joins Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth every Wednesday morning. Presented by Groove Toyota.
Here we go.
Tune in at 8:10 for exclusive insight, bold analysis, and maybe just a hint of shenanigans. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
What version of the Denver Nuggets do we get tonight in Indianapolis, Indiana, as Denver ascends down on the Pacers, Gainbridge Fieldhouse this evening? We have a little bit more information than we did earlier in the show when we spoke about this. Jamal Murray will play tonight. He suffered that right ankle sprain, really kind of an innocuous play, honestly. It was no drama to it. It was just, stepped on, I think it was Spencer Jones' foot.
Those are the ones that make your heart skip the most, I think.
Totally.
When it's not a big deal and all of a sudden somebody's laying on the ground, you're like, oh.
And with Jamal, it's like, man, it always feels like it's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's always something. And I can't put my finger on it, but in one way, shape, or form, there's just always something going on with Jamal physically. Even if it's random.
With that said, because I agree with you, do you like the decision to play Jamal tonight? Should they have sat him and just kind of accepted some losses against a bad team where you're already down a handful of starters?
My preference would be that he didn't play. It's early December, and he means too much. In a team like the Pacers, you honestly should be able to beat them even without Jamal Murray, even without Aaron Gordon, and even without Christian Brown. They are not good. They have been ravaged by injury and turnover. They were just in the NBA Finals a year ago, yet their record is 4 wins and 17 losses. The only two worst teams in the NBA are the Pelicans and the Washington Wizards.
I did see, total side note, by the way, that Zion's going to miss 3 weeks now.
He is.
The expectation is. And he has now crossed the threshold of he has missed more games as a professional than he has played. He has missed 55% of his available games as an NBA player, and I think he's made north of $70 million to not play basketball, in a sense.
Yeah,
it's that Joel Embiid type of conversation.
Yeah, it's just a sad story. Your career is best known as you not playing.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate because the talent. I mean, when Zion was at Duke, we got to remember.
It was the Duke, ESPN was the Duke network.
Barack Obama and Jay-Z were at the same game at, the hell is that, why am I name escaping me where Duke plays?
Cameron Indoor.
Cameron Indoor, goodness gracious. Called a game there. Lucky enough to call a game there. Forget the name of it. But yeah, Zion, we were watching Zion since he was a freshman in high school.
Zion blowing out his shoe in the middle of a game was like the lead story on SportsCenter.
Yep.
A shoe issue.
Yeah, but that's how polarizing he was.
How his college career ended, Zach?
Where did his college against Michigan State?
It did in the Elite Eight.
Okay, so Jamal Murray a go tonight. Nikola Jokic dealing with a wrist issue is still a go tonight. This is a team in Denver who quite literally has been a better road team than a home team, despite the inherent built-in advantage here at altitude. It doesn't make sense, but they have lost twice as many games at home as they have on the road. They've played 10 games on the road. They are 8-2, and if they have a professional approach, which I can't believe I've used that word so often in this young season.
It's bringing back a painfully familiar tone.
Yeah, because I used that word, that P word, so often last year, either professional or unprofessional, and more often unprofessional. Yeah, if they are sober and focused, they should win tonight against a 4-win, 17-loss Pacers team.
They should, because listen, for all the injury woes that we talk about the Nuggets, the Pacers lost their star player before the season ever started in the postseason of last year.
Correct.
So they were going into the season without Tyrese Halliburton, and they've had starters struggle to come back and deal with some nagging injuries, and that's a part of the reason why they are where they are. So it sounds kind of crazy when you're like, hey, you should be able to beat an NBA team without 3 key starters. You know, so Jokic and Cam Johnson being your 2 starters remaining. It sounds kind of crazy because these are NBA professionals, but I actually agree with you. And so there's a part of me that wants to say, hey, with the runway that's in front of the Nuggets, with the way that they're playing shakily at home versus on the road, and because of the fact that you were already racing for second in the Western Conference, and now with the way that the Lakers are playing, the way that the Houston Rockets are playing, that race for second could get a lot more muddy and cloudy and put you in a position where months down the road from now, we're looking at trying to scrape by and avoid being on OKC's side of the bracket.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that says, hey, you can't take many games for granted, but if you were going to take one maybe for granted and try to roll the dice and be cautious with a guy like Jamal, this would be the one.
Well, the Nuggets stand at 14-6. They should, at a bare minimum, be 16-4 at a bare minimum. And I'm saying, hey, bad losses happen. Yeah. Keep the Sacramento loss or the Chicago loss, whatever. So they have some atoning to do.
And I'm so sick of playing the Kings, by the way. I just saw they added another Kings game on the back end of the schedule, and I'm like, can we please? I think that was because of the NBA Cup, deal or whatever. But it's like, we played the Kings 3 times in the first 16 games of the season. I'm good.
Well, the last time that the Pacers and Nuggets squared off against one another, Jamal Murray did not play, and the Nuggets won by 17 points. And this was a game where defensively, I thought Peyton Watson really started to come on. He erased NBA All-Star Pascal Siakam out of the game completely. And Peyton Watson has just been fantastic. Expectation coming in and then contrasted with the result of what we're seeing on a night-to-night basis, both offensively now and defensively. It could be another long night for Pascal Siakam with that on-ball defense from Peyton Watson. And if that happens, I just don't see enough scoring from Indiana to beat Denver. But I said that 2 nights ago, and the worst offensive team came into Denver and hung 130 on the Nuggets. So they're a box of chocolates right now.
I would venture to guess that the game plan against the Pacers tonight is going to look similar to what it was in early November in that game where they won by 17 without Jamal and without Aaron Gordon. I think the 2 biggest things that the Nuggets outperformed the Pacers in were they out-rebounded them by double digits and they crushed them in points in the paint. I think it was like a 30-point difference in points in the paint, 72-42, something in that margin.
I remember this.
And they out-rebounded them by double digits. And so I would imagine, again, because they're down similar starters going into this game, and Jamal's going to play, and that's great. But I would imagine that's the type of game plan that you're going to see again. And I do think because they did it with reasonable success last time around, that they should be able to do it again, even with the injuries they're dealing with now.
Yep. I just want the mindset to be right. I want the approach to be right defensively. Right now, for about the last 3 weeks, the Denver Nuggets have the single worst defense in the NBA. And so, and I talked about this earlier. Right now, the Denver Nuggets also have the best offensive rating that we've ever seen. So think about how are you on a 4-game losing streak with the greatest offensive rating ever. That's how bad your defense is. That is hard to articulate Like those two things living in the same universe.
It's the same dichotomy that we talked about for years with some of the early kind of Jokic prime seasons, where when Jokic is on the floor, they have the best offensive rating in NBA history, and when he leaves the floor, they're one of, if not the worst offensive teams in NBA
Correct.
history. And we saw how when you have that wide of a disparity, I know that's offense to offense, not offense to defense, but when you have that wide of a disparity in that kind of important category comparison, we've seen those seasons play out and how they ended. And it was much shorter than the expectation for this year's Nuggets team.
Yep, and real quick, one more thought before we move on here. After it happened for a third time in this season, I said, hey, we need to pay attention to this. Like, not sky is falling type stuff, but we need to pay attention. It's clutch games. Games under 5 points or less between two teams with under 5 minutes to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are defined as clutch games. The Nuggets were almost flawless through the years.
Dominant.
It's like if you got to that phase of the game, they are going to outpoint you. And I'm talking about like a boxing term. They're just going to tic-tac-toe you to death. And they've lost those games this year. They've lost those games. An overtime loss to Golden State to start the season. A 2-point loss on the road at Portland. A 3-point loss at home to Chicago. A 5-point loss at home to Sacramento. A 3-point loss at home to San Antonio. Let's keep our eye on that.
Yeah, and the first game you listed there with the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry just absolutely came alive and took over a game. He's one of the greatest shooters, greatest players in the history of the NBA. But a lot of the names of teams you listed after that should not be in a position to do what they did to the Nuggets.
No.
Golden State, okay.
No, and like it would feel impossible if you told me that before the game started, hey, you're going to lose to the Bulls in a clutch game. You're going to lose to the Kings in a clutch game. Like, that should not be a sentence. Unfortunately, it has been. And the final score ended up being a 10-point loss against Dallas. But that was in my opinion, that's a clutch loss. That was a 2-3-point game with under 4 minutes to play. So, all right, shifting gears here. Was something unlocked on the Broncos offense that can help mitigate the lack of run game? We'll talk about it next.
Have the Denver Broncos proven they're capable of making a deep playoff run?
If you can be successful in one-score games, if you can find ways to win different games, fourth-quarter comebacks, overtime win, putting a complete game together, 60 minutes of offensive football, that's what the Broncos have done. They've shown us 5-6 different ways they can win a football game so that you get to yourself in a playoff scenario.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Okay, guys, the holidays are here, and you need a gift for your wife or that special lady, something really nice yet affordable. Hey, Mark Schlereth here with a terrific idea. This year, buy her a gift package to Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. They specialize in wonderful services like fabulous European facials, soothing therapeutic massage, and much, much more. But guys, let's be honest, you can buy a facial or massage anywhere. But at Beau Visage, you're not just buying a service. Instead, you're bringing your guest a true luxurious spa experience. Believe me, this place is great. And you'll never go wrong buying a gift package to Beau Visage. Plus, all their packages are very competitively priced and easy shopping. All you have to do is call them at 303-779-5002 or find them online at bvspa.com. Lenovo.com. This holiday, give her the gift of rest and relaxation, a luxurious gift of Beau Massage. Call them today, 303-779-5002 or bbspa.com. That's bbspa.com.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Brandon Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell? Since 1976, Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. Are your bills keeping you up at night? Imagine using your home equity for a financial reset that helps you to finally get ahead again. At Cake Mortgage, we get it. Life's expensive. Insurance, groceries, and high-interest credit card debt. That's why we created the Cake Fast Cash Home Equity Program. Turn your home into your ATM without touching your existing mortgage rate. Cake Fast Cash is fast. Many clients close in 2 weeks, so call Cake today and pay down high-interest cards, free up cash, or fund home upgrades, and you only pay for what you use. Cake Mortgage. Your fresh-baked fast cash loan is ready to enjoy. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Archwell Health. Primary care for adults age 60 and older.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at WistaraCU.com.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Was something unlocked on the Broncos offense that could help mitigate the lack of run game? I'm talking about Evan Ingram, who had his best game of the season on Sunday. Richie Carney filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. The thing I'm trying to figure out is, was that just a flash in the pan from Evan Ingram on Sunday Night Football, or did we actually see something come into focus that was the expectation from the beginning? And time will only tell, but here we are trying to diagnose it with 5 games left.
Yeah, in my opinion, Zach, it's the latter in the analogy there. I think you saw something come into fruition that was the expectation, the vision, the plan of what you and me and Phil and our entire media conglomerate were standing on the sideline during training camp being like, oh, this Evan Ingram guy's going to eat. This signing, they are going to get their money's worth out of Evan Ingram. And we were talking about like, hey, it may not reach Julius Thomas level of success and production, but it could flirt with it. It's damn sure going to be the closest to it since. And for whatever reason, and maybe it's because it was overhyped, partially by Sean Payton and Evan Ingram himself, partially by us, maybe for fueling the fire about what the Joker role was going to look like in Sean Payton's offense and how that was going to manifest itself. And maybe a little bit unfair to Evan Ingram in the sense that the production floor for tight ends with the Broncos has just been so low. That we're starving in the desert just looking for water, and he was going to be it. But I just think that when you look at Evan Ingram's targets and receptions and his kind of focus within the offense this season, it's not drastically higher than what we've seen the majority of the season compared to what we got against Washington. He had 6 catches for 79 yards, but you're talking about targets, 5 targets. Then he had a couple of short ones, but then 8 targets, 6, 7. So Evan Ingram has gotten looks within the offense. They just haven't turned into a 41-yard catch and run in a critical, pivotal situation. You got the morsel during the preseason, right, where he took it and ran with it, and we're like, here we go.
Cardinals,
Validation is there.
Yep.
It just hasn't clicked for one reason or another. But
and that's just not on him either.
No.
Him and Bo, for whatever reason, have not been able to be on the same page at the same time. And that's what it looked like when they were on Sunday Night Football.
And I think that I agree with that, because when you're looking at Evan Ingram's game against the Commanders, the thing that stood out to me was it was a virtual tie or a difference of 0.2 in terms of Evan Ingram's highest yards per target of any game he's had this season. So Bo was getting Evan Ingram the ball or targeting Evan Ingram deeper in this game than virtually every other game of the season. The only one that basically is a virtual tie with it was the Cowboys game, where the Broncos just had an absolute offensive rout against, at that time, the worst defense in the NFL. And I started to think about why that might be, and I don't think it's a coincidence, Zach, that in those 2 games, one of the biggest differences we've seen there compared to other games was you had a comfortable, settled Bo Nix in the pocket.
Sure.
He was not bailing out, scrambling, dumping off to a check down. He was making reads, making progressions, and allowing time for Sean Payton's route concepts to develop.
Well, Evan Ingram, his catch and run in overtime was twice as long as his previous longest play, which was 20 yards. And his catch and run in OT was 41 yards. Also, and I think this is encouraging, but it also speaks to the slow starting nature of Ingram as a Bronco. If you add up his 2 best games, which came against both teams that play in New Jersey, the Giants and the Jets, 42 yards apiece on 5 receptions apiece, like eerily similar against those New York teams. If you add those 2 games up, it's only 5 yards more than what he just produced against the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. So I think really encouraging. Here was Sean Payton when asked after the game on Sunday about the offensive struggles.
It was one of those frustrating nights running the ball. They did a few things differently by staying in their heavy personnel. Teams have been able to run the ball in sub against them. And to Dan's credit, they didn't allow that. So we then started checking to some, scattering out of some of our one-back runs to throw it against their base to try to counteract that. But our guys adjusted well. And to your question, I think, Evan was one of his better games the play he made in overtime was huge. The jerk route he ran was outstanding.
And not only was the play in overtime huge and outstanding, as Sean said, but don't forget the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. And everyone talks about the Bo Nix pass to Sutton where his knee is barely off the ground, and that should lead the conversation. I'm not getting pushback on that. It was, but Evan Ingram on that drive, not 1 catch, not 2 catch, but 3 catches for first downs. That was a big boy drive, and he played a huge role in it. So between that at the end of the first half and what he did in overtime, I don't know what it's going to look like here moving forward, but certainly something to build off of for Evan Ingram. Okay, something is happening in a sport for the first time in 46 years, and a Denver sports team is at the center of it. Also, Bo Nix has a split personality that makes him a cross between MVP Josh Allen and 2022 Russell Wilson. We'll explain. We'll get to all of it coming up next as we are on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
Is Alex Singleton playing his way toward Broncos immortality?
He signed a 1-year, $1 million contract, and then all he does is goes on to set the single-season tackle record, and then he blows out his ACL. He comes all the way back, gets flagged for cancer, and then 23 days later, he's back making big plays for the Broncos? This guy is a legend in my book. He is becoming a Denver Broncos legend.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there about a phrase that may make you a bit uncomfortable, and that is erectile dysfunction. But what's more uncomfortable than hearing the phrase, ED, is actually living with it, all right? And some of the confidence issues that it can cause and the damaging effects that it can have on your intimacy, all right? Guys, do not let that happen, or do not let that continue. Guys, ED is a medical condition, and like most other medical conditions, it's treatable. And I'm talking about treatments with success rates well over 90% at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. All right, they've served the Front Range of Colorado for nearly a decade, so they're not new. They've successfully treated tens of thousands of men just like you. So I hate to break it to you, you're not that special. ED is actually pretty common. So schedule a consult with them today. Your initial visit is only $99. That includes a medical consult with a Colorado licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. It's real simple, fellas. If the test dose does not work in the office, your visit is free. They have an expert staff, 5 locations in this great state to serve you. So stop living with ED. Call them at 720-440-7900 or visit them online at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
You could save thousands of dollars on the products your business uses the most with the Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred Pricing. Registering is free and easy. Just have your tax ID or business or contractor's license ready. But don't wait. The current preferred pricing benefit will end on November 15th. Visit your local Pro Desk to register now and unlock the deepest savings on the products you choose.
Looking to sell your used Rolex watch? We buy and sell pre-owned Rolex watches, all styles from old to new. Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. Bring in your Rolex watch and we will buy it on the spot. Matthews, located in Highlands Ranch, serving Colorado since 1951.
What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket ahead of the holidays. That's possible when you call American Financing. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and credit card rates are insane in the 20s or even 30s. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt with rates in the low 5s. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and save money every month, all without upfront fees. Their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise without having to change jobs. Call now before it's too late at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR for rates in the 5s start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
If you've been injured in Colorado, you want Wilhite. After an accident, you want Colorado's accident experts on your side, the Wilhite Law Firm. Get your free case review right now. Just call 303-GOOD-LAW today or visit WilhiteWins.com and win big with Wilhite.
Marketing can feel overwhelming. Where to start? What works? What doesn't? That's where your marketing experts at Denver Sports come in. Audio, video, online marketing, and we know how to cut through the noise so your customers finally hear your story. You don't have to waste time guessing or spinning your wheels. We'll guide you with a proven plan that turns your marketing into growth. Let us handle the hard part. You do the easy part. Head over to DenverSports.com and click Advertise with us and start growing your business today.
Life happens, and then debt happens. Your laptop dies when you need it most. A hospital bill hurts more than an injury. Enter End Credit Union with a free debt consultation and a plan built just for you. End is here to help you break the debt cycle and get your finances on track. Debt happens. End helps. Schedule your free consultation at end.com/coaching. Standard account and credit qualifications apply.
For many of us, it's happened before. Your hair is thinning, crowns disappearing. Maybe the hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. The solution that worked for me, it's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. And it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you, because you can't be pinned down. Unless you want to be. Your first love story is free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Stay up to date on the Broncos and the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider James Palmer, exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mondays on The Rundown with Richie Carney, Tuesday afternoons on The Drive, and Friday mornings on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, all season long. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Something is happening in a sport for the first time in 46 years. And a Denver sports team is at the center of it. Man, this is so cool. This is so cool. This has been such a fun stretch of time watching these Colorado Avalanche, who pick up another dub last night, 3-1 over Vancouver, who's been like a tricky little team for them for whatever reason. I think they went into overtime earlier in the season.
I think so.
I think so. And I think Vancouver beat them last year as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's like going in like, is this a bit of a trap game?
Definitely a potential stumbling point.
Yeah. And the game was not aesthetically pleasing. Okay. It was all mucked up and
a lot of icings, a lot of stoppages.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Actually, McKinnon, I've never heard a and maybe I have and I just don't remember, but I can't remember hearing a professional athlete after a game in which they played in and won be like, yeah, that was a really boring game.
Kind of sucked.
McKinnon actually said that out loud. It's like, I don't think I remember another athlete saying the game I just played in and that was boring. Like kind of like felt sorry for the fans.
One doesn't immediately come to mind, yeah.
Anyway, they pick up the win last night, and the Avalanche, this is nuts. They join the 1979-1980 Philadelphia Flyers as the only teams in the history of the NHL with one regulation loss through 26 games. It feels impossible, but we're in the trenches with this team, and night after night, and seeing is just believing. Richie Carney filling in for Phillip Lindsay today.
There's only one team in NHL history that has amassed more points than the Colorado Avalanche have through the first 26 games of a season. And it's the 2008 San Jose Sharks who beat them by 1 point.
That's
nuts.
nuts.
They had 45, the Avs have 44. So if a couple of those overtime losses go the way of the Avs in regulation, or even in overtime,
the amount of times that they lost in OT.
Yes, yeah. Then the Avalanche are the most prolific points accruing team in the history of the National Hockey League through 26 games. They missed it by 1.
That's and now I'm like, that freaking shootout against Dallas when Mikko put, or the loss to the Bruins, which is
Literally,
the only regulation loss.
The only one was to a Bruins team that had lost 6 going into that game.
That's right. 6 in a row.
Yeah, 6 in a row. Yeah.
Just, oh my gosh. This team, I know I said this last week, but the phrase, which is, still like relatively new in our like sports phraseology, like a wagon, right? Like the phrase like wagon is invented for a team like this. This is a juggernaut personified.
It's just amplified, Zach, by the way that they're just getting it every which way. It comes from a massive game from Nathan MacKinnon, who's just on an absolute tear.
Insane.
To start his NHL season.
Insane.
It comes from another rendition of the Marty Party. It comes from, depth scoring from guys like Victor Olofsson, who they picked up on the cheap in the offseason, from Gavin Brindley, who is injured right now, coming back hopefully pretty soon, but a guy that they acquired in a literal salary dump with Columbus.
Yep.
And he's now making positive contributions in your top 6 because of injuries to Nichushkin, etc. They're getting it from a backup goaltender becoming statistically one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League to start the season, leading the NHL in wins for a good chunk of time, top 5 in save percentage. Every which way you look, the Avs are almost a weakness-proof team. And we've talked about the power play a lot, how it does defy science and logic in some respects, that a team with the amount of skill, precision, and firepower that the Avalanche have at even strength somehow, poof, goes away when they have a man advantage. But that's kind of been the case. And the only logical explanation I could think of is they get a little too cute and they're maybe passing too much, looking for too perfect of an opportunity, when in reality, if they just started peppering the puck on the net.
It's still going back to what you said, there's just, and I don't want to get bogged down by the power play because they're doing so good right now,
right.
Just as a team. But just to finish that conversation, it does defy logic. And the other one that defies logic is the overtime losses. You would think with that level of skill, removing a player, adding more space, it would only lean into the strength and skill set of the Avs.
Right.
But you look at the overtime or shootout losses to Dallas, to Utah, to Carolina, to Boston, to Jersey, to San Jose, not Boston, but the other teams there. Like, to think that this all-time great season could actually be better had they just collected an extra point in the overtime or shootout losses is just insane. The Avs guys, 19-1-6. Just psychotic. They are the only team left in the NHL. For a while, Jersey was hanging tough there, but they're the only team left in the NHL who has yet to lose in regulation at home. After last night, 11-0-2. It is the 6th longest home point streak in team history. In the last 17 games, they are 14-0-3. That is the 2nd longest point streak in the history as well of the Colorado Avalanche. And I know you mentioned MacKinnon, but he scores 2 goals last night. He's now up to 22 goals on the season with a multi-goal lead over number 2.
Ridiculous.
To put this in context, last season, Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl led the NHL in scoring with 52 goals. Nathan MacKinnon is on pace for 69 goals.
Nice.
Very nice. It feels impossible again, but seeing is believing. And so I don't know what is going to slow this team down, but there's nothing that I see on the horizon that looks like they could even come close right now, especially you get into the playoffs. Like, who is going to beat this team 4 times in a 2-week period? Holy smokes.
No, to add another scoop into the MacKinnon Sunday that we've kind of been building here, Zach, the Avs are outscoring teams 37-9 at 5-on-5 when MacKinnon's on the ice. Even if they slow down from that pace a little bit? What if they're outscoring them 45-15? That's a triple up. You know what I mean? Like they are a wagon. They are a force of nature, as their literal namesake would suggest. And it just feels like it's adding more and more valid, concrete evidence to support the fact that the Avs are absolutely in a Stanley Cup or bust window. And the team that we're seeing at the quarter pole, basically, of this NHL season, I would have to tie half of my brain behind my back to steal a biasm.
Which I stole from Rush Limbaugh, but
okay, yeah, secondhand stealing. You know, I was like,
you're
the pawn shop that I just bought it from.
Yes.
I would have to do that, or something even greater than that, to think there is a team that can beat this version of the Colorado Avalanche 4 times in 7 games. I don't even care about home ice advantage. I just don't see a team that's going to line up across from these dudes, especially now that Brock Nelson's catching his stride in the last 10. Gabe Landeskog is returning to form in the last 10. All the other depth pieces, goaltending, McKinnon, McCarr, etc. They look unbeatable.
They do.
Flat out.
They do. And you have someone like Brock Nelson, who is just like, man, this guy in the last 2 weeks has been as fun as anyone in the NHL to watch.
Would that be one of the most vindicating aspects of if we look into our crystal ball and this Avalanche team hoists Lord Stanley Cup for a 4th time in franchise history? Would Brock Nelson, playing the way that he's playing or coming on in the last 10 games or so, and essentially ending the tireless search for a second-line center replacement from Nazem Kadri, would that be one of the most vindicating elements of this rendition of a championship team, that they finally figured it out?
It'd be pretty poetic, and you finally figured out since the last time you had it, and the last time you had it, you lifted Lord Stanley. Mm-hmm. And so this guy, in the last 10 games, 6 goals, 6 assists. He's been phenomenal. And now you're seeing the captain, Gabe, really get his legs underneath him. He had 2 assists last night. In the last 10 games, he has 10 points with 4 goals and 6 assists. And one of the cooler moments last night, it was when Gabe lined up McKinnon for a one-timer. All right, and which, of course, McKinnon just pounds into the back of the net on a night where he's sick.
Right.
Nathan McKinnon was sick last night. Could have very easily sat out the game. He plays. He ends up with 2 goals. Ho-hum. But Gabe puts it on his tape, and McKinnon blasts it into oblivion for a goal. And McKinnon, a lot of times, man, he'll score a goal, and it looks like he's chewing on glass. And that's probably just the maniacal nature of him that has him at the top of the sport. They're tied together. So I don't want to see Nate Dogg change, but it was cool to see the unbridled smile across his face, not like cheesing for a picture, but open mouth, gaping smile of joy when he looked at Landy after that pass to the one-timer. And I think there's, he's got Kobe in him, who is just so just tightly wound and, again, I'll use maniacal. It was cool to see just for a brief moment, hey, you're playing a kid's game in front of 20,000 people, and to see him just let himself enjoy that for a second, I thought was for me personally and maybe that's too sappy, but my favorite just snapshot moment of the night.
No, I agree with you, and I think it's important to remember that even, it's the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes, or even a guy like McKinnon who is just Terminator wired with a singular drive and focus that kind of propels him, and everybody that reaches certain levels of greatness has something different about them. There's a separator to the Jordans, the Kobes, the Bradys,
of course,
the McKinnons, right? And that's kind of how Nate's manifests. But remember the emotions that we all got swept up when Gabe came back, and he had that game with the Eagles, and then he returns for the postseason, right, and all that.
I was in the barn when he came back.
Players and teammates aren't immune to that. In fact, they're more susceptible to it because they're in the foxhole. They're in the trenches with a guy like that. That's their captain, right? And now when you're talking about culminating a 10-game stretch where Gabe is looking as close as he has certainly looked to the old Gabe that helped them, that sacrificed his body in the most literal sense to hoist the Stanley Cup for the Avs, and now he's back and he's feeling himself, and Nate has a line mate like that is just clicking and vibing. Even somebody like Nate, who is as stone-faced and serious as one can get, there's some moments that are just unescapable, and they manifest themselves in different ways, and I think that was one of them.
Yep. Someone on the RamosLaw.com text line said, "I'm worried about the President's Cup curse. Are you guys?" No, I'm not.
Not even a little bit. Dude.
Not getting caught up with that at all. I'm not. I don't live in that world of fearful of a curse. And by the way, the Avs have won the President's Trophy and gone on to win the Stanley Cup back in 2001.
The chain's been broken.
It's I'm not saying it hasn't been a thing, but I'm not. That's not on my mind here.
I'll happily have that. If they win the President's Cup and they fall short in the playoffs, I'll have that conversation way down the road at that point. It's not even in my remote plane of view at this moment.
Yep. Good to see Val return as well. Played just under 13 minutes, had a couple shots on goal. Wedgwood left in the second period, tight back. Let's keep our eye on that. Trent Miner has been recalled from the Eagles, but yeah, this is a blast.
It's freaking awesome.
This is an absolute blast. Must see TV. If you guys haven't been locked in on this, it's not too late. They play tomorrow night. They start a 4-game roadie out on the island in New York there to play the Isles, followed by the Blue Shirts in Madison Square Garden on Saturday, and then Philly and Nashville before they come back home next week. All right, this is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with Richie Carney, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. You are listening to The Drive, getting you home here, kicking the door down to hour number 4. Today we heard from Bo Nix and Sean Payton at the podium. You will hear from both of them here within this segment. But also, I said a handful of minutes ago, Bo Nix has a split personality. And he becomes a cross between MVP Josh Allen and 2022 Russell Wilson. This is what I mean.
God, what a sentence.
This is it's something. it's something. And I took that analogy, if you will, from Andrew Mason, who had it at DenverSports.com.
Shout out.
And he was isolating who Bo Nix is for the last 2 minutes of each half and who he was in overtime, contrasted with who he is the other 56 minutes of an NFL game.
That is the most Mace thing ever, by the way, and I love it.
Me too.
Nobody else is breaking that kind of stuff down. That's like ESPN Stats and Info, PFF level analysis.
Yes, I agree. But it's hyper relevant because we know just by watching the games, and I'll give you some numbers here in a second, but we know just by watching the games, you watch the Broncos offense. I mean, it can be gouge your eyes out, yank locks of hair out, like levels of frustration.
The Thursday Night Football crew against the Raiders was talking about like Whitworth and Fitzmagic and all that. They're like, this is like setting offensive football back decades.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like it's turn the TV off.
And that was a week after the announcers were making fun of the game that they were doing. So the Broncos in multiple situations, Kurt Warner tweeting during a game he's calling. I've never seen that. Almost making fun of the lack of the forward pass. Like, so for multiple instances here over the last month, like the crews doing the game have very uncharacteristically been poking fun at the game itself, which is just wild. But it's often a reflection of how we're feeling at home when we watch the game. And then crunch time comes. And then clutch time comes. And it can be euphoric. And so Mace put numbers to it. Okay? So in the last 2 minutes of each half and in overtime this season, Bo Nix has a passer rating of 100. That places him 6th among 31 eligible quarterbacks. Okay? Now, let me just say this before I give you the rest. Passer rating's not my favorite stat. Okay? Because I think there's more context and nuance to football than just passer rating, but this is what we have here. This is what the research that Mace did.
It's a tool in the tool.
It's a tool. Yeah, I like that. So in the last 2 minutes of each half and an OT this season, Bo Nix passer rating of 100, placing him in the top 10 at number 6 among 31 eligible quarterbacks. At all other points in the game, so the other 56 minutes, Bo Nix passer rating drops 17 points to 83, and he ranks 26th. Okay, so from 6 to 26. The 20-spot difference in ranking makes Bo Nix the second highest differential in that context after only Geno Smith, which I would not have guessed.
If you had given me 5 guesses, I wouldn't have guessed Geno Smith has that kind of disparity. Because when I watch the Raiders, and obviously we watch them in the context of them playing the Broncos, but you've got Red Zone, you get Sunday Ticket, we watch a lot of these games. When I watch Geno Smith, I don't really see the heroic side that we see from Bo Nix.
You want to know what? Some of it with him might be Geno Smith and the Raiders specifically might be garbage time.
It's got to be, right? Because the Raiders are bad. They're the inverse of the Broncos.
Yes, correct. And that's why sometimes I'm like, passer rating, because it doesn't weigh the context. But anyway, just keep going with it and Mace's research here. So Bo Nix, just in summary, okay, in the last 2 minutes of each half and in overtime, all right, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, top 6. The other 56 minutes, he's not a top 25 quarterback, okay? And Mace went on to say that Bo Nix is basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but Bo Nix is basically Josh Allen in the final 2 minutes of each half and in overtime by passer rating, and the other 56 minutes, he's basically 2022 Russell Wilson, which you talk about a trigger point or a pain point, but
it's the Winter Soldier and Wolverine blood. Those are your 2 alternatives. It's hurdles and high knees.
I don't understand the Wolverine reference, but I'm enough context
Wolverine
to know.
blood. That was Russell Wilson said. I got Wolverine blood in me.
Yes. I'm sorry. I thought you were quoting like a movie.
Marvel. Yeah. Well, I thought doesn't Josh Allen? Don't they call him the Winter Soldier because he plays so many snow games in Buffalo?
I have not heard.
I thought that was a nickname.
It might be. I just haven't heard it. But yeah, I mean that you want contrast. Josh Allen to 2022 Russell Wilson. That's the contrast of Bo Nix in the 56 minutes of the football game. That's not the last 2 minutes of the half or overtime. And yeah, it's I think it's okay to say, hey, incredible season thus far, 10-2, Super Bowl contention, number 1 seed attainable, but also admit, okay, and this is probably healthy, there's still a lot of room to grow for Bo Nix in this passing offense.
I would think you would want there to be free. I don't think you want to look at a quarterback in year 2 and go, yep, this is the best we're ever going to get, even if it's been really good. And I think the fact that you have an allegory, a comparison from Andrew Mason like that, that's backed up by literal statistics that says, hey, there is an element of the quarterback of the Denver Broncos in a very important sense that is parallel to Josh Allen, the MVP. And on the other side of the coin, there's area for improvement. I think that's a very healthy space in some ways to be in. Now, it's created some cardiac moments. It's created some hand-wringing, some frustration, some anxiety. And the team's kind of been walking a tightrope during this 9-game win streak. But they're on a 9-game win streak.
Right.
And they're a 1A, 1B kind of back and forth dance with the New England Patriots. And I kind of said it, and I still, in a lot of ways, believe it. A handful of weeks ago, when we're talking about both of these teams at the top of the AFC only winning 6 or 7 games in a row, I started to think to myself, I'm like, the number 1 seed in this conference is going to come down to a staring contest between the Patriots and the Broncos, and it's going to come down to who blinks first. And so far, neither team has blinked, and the Patriots have a game in hand. They got a bye coming up after this week. But in a real sense, the Broncos are in a legitimate dance for the number 1 seed and putting themselves in a position to be 2 home playoff games away from a Super Bowl.
Crazy.
In year 2.
Crazy. Yeah, so really, at the end of the day, are we being a bit critical, or was, Mace is he's just like passing along the details and the facts. Like, this is
He's
not...
putting context and numbers to the feeling that we all have watching the game.
Yeah. And someone says, I hope Bo isn't Josh Allen. He'll never win a Super Bowl.
Oh, bingo.
We're just using Mace's analogy. I'm not, just using what Mace used. But while we're here, immediately I withdraw from people who have that opinion. You know nothing. You're relieving, or you're revealing your ignorance. Josh Allen has the greatest postseason touchdown to interception ratio in the history of the sport. Every single metric rises in the postseason with Josh Allen. His defense is giving up 33 points a game in the playoff losses. So,
am I obligated?
You're telling on yourself, is what I'm saying.
Am I obligated because I'm sitting in this chair to start chirping about Lamar Jackson? Right? Is that something that
if you wanted to say Lamar Jackson has a turnover for every touchdown in the playoffs, that would be a fair thing to say. But anyway. Yeah, so it's okay. In fact, it's this comes from a place of saying, hey, this can get better despite being 10-2. It comes from a really healthy place, honestly. We're looking under the hood because right now, guys, see, here's the thing. Like, the Broncos are going to have to move forward without one of the best running games in the NFL. J.K. Dobbins isn't walking through that door.
And there's not a stable behind J.K. Dobbins that should give you any vote of confidence, at least if speaking for myself, doesn't give me any vote of confidence.
Right.
I'll raise my hand that you're going to be able to replicate that.
No.
R.J. Harvey, fair or not, was drafted in the second round before J.K. Dobbins was ever a picture for the Denver Broncos, despite what Sean might tell you, revisionist history.
Yeah.
We were flirting all this time, whatever. But at the time R.J. Harvey was selected, his team chose not to trade up and try to go after a Quinshon Judkins or Trayvon Henderson, two dudes that are balling right now at this point in the NFL season, one of which plays for the main AFC competition for the Broncos. They traded back. They selected R.J. Harvey. And fair or not, the expectation was that R.J. Harvey at some point was going to be the face and the focal point of this backfield.
Yeah, and I just, I've been talking about this for 2 months. I don't see it.
I don't either. Not right now.
And that's not to say that Harvey is not, a weapon on game day. That's not to say that there's not a role for him. I just don't see a starting running back for, I was going to say, for a Super Bowl team. I just don't see a starting running back right now in R.J. Harvey. Again, doesn't mean there's not a role for him. Doesn't mean he's not useful.
He's an excellent weapon out of the backfield as a receiving threat.
But a down-to-down runner, he's got the third lowest explosive run rate.
Correct.
Of any running back to carry the ball 50 times this
like
year.
Any NFL backfield is similar to a dinner plate. There's entrees and there's side dishes. A complementary piece that is exceptional in one area but not a complete player is a side dish.
Yeah.
So R.J. Harvey might be the best bowl of mashed potatoes you could buy, but that's only works because you have a steak on the plate as well.
Yeah, but the problem is, or could be, is that the guy who's making the decisions, who's brilliant, thinks he's a steak. When
it gets into the red area, Sean definitely thinks he's a steak.
Well, no doubt. I mean, they give him all those opportunities, and good for him. He's getting into the end zone. But Sean has gone on about R.J. Harvey and the running ability and the down-to-down basis, and he's built to last. And I just, man, I know that was the vision, but I think a pivot needs to happen. But I'll say this, like going back to the theme of this conversation, if you are a bit concerned about the run game like I am, and it sounds like you are too.
Very.
Okay, and it's post-trade deadline. They had a shot. I wanted them to do it. They didn't. Whatever. Here you are. It's okay to admit that if you are a bit concerned about the run game, now without Dobbins, it's okay to admit that Bo Nix in the passing game needs to get better. Mm-hmm. And when we're quoting Mace's research here, and for 56 of the 60 minutes, you are not a top 25 passer rating, like, it's okay to be critical and want to raise the bar because you're examining this offense through the lens of a potential Super Bowl team.
Yep, and it may just mean that because something's got to compensate for the loss, right? And if R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Tyler Bidet are not going to compensate as a collective unit and replace the production that is left on the table without J.K. Dobbins, it's got to come from Bo Nix and the passing game. And maybe all that means is, to go back to Mace's analogy, that you need the Josh Allen side of the Bo Nix coin for 4 to 5 minutes a quarter, right? The last 5 minutes or so of a half and into overtime versus 2. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to flip the script and say Bo Nix now has to be a top 6 passer by passer rating for 3 quarters and change of every football game, because a jump like that's just not realistic or feasible at this point. But I don't think it needs that, and I would hope that with the continued development and progression of Bo Nix as an NFL quarterback under the tutelage of Sean Payton, who handpicked him for this exact reason and put out there into the ether without anyone forcing him or begging him to do so, that this is the 7th team he's ever coached that could win a Super Bowl and a quarterback that he thinks is going to be a top 4 or 5 guy in the next handful of years. I would hope that the runway lights are still on for that to happen. Because we didn't, frankly, Zach, a lot of us, think that the Broncos would be in the position they're in right now.
I've raised my hand. I didn't know.
Absolutely.
10-2 after 12?
Absolutely, I did not. And I'm not even going to be picky, because there are people that say, yeah, but I mean, look at the amount of things that went the right way. They're like the Chiefs from last year with all these one-score wins, and look at the Chiefs now. I'm not even looking ahead to anything beyond the week in front of us, which is exactly how Sean Payton kind of verbalizes it. Because the Broncos are in uncharted territory for where we thought they would be, and in some ways, I bet you, from where they thought they might be, if you gave them a shot of truth serum behind closed doors.
I was going to say 10-2 after 12. This is next level. This is what's made this season. But there's so much context to how they got there. It's made the Broncos one of the most debatable topics, not just here in this region, but around the country. And because of the stats that we put out there from NACE, like, this is why there are people, and I hear them regularly on podcasts, whether it's like sports gambling podcasts, like doing like, that guy can't play. I hear that, like, Bo Nix can't play.
Can't trust him.
And if you want to make that argument, you have some evidence to make the argument. If you want to make the argument that he is a pure winner and the definition of clutch and all, you have the evidence to make that argument. So
that was another Mace thing, was the result of the Commanders game on Sunday Night Football validated your opinion of Bo Nix and the Broncos, regardless of what side of the aisle you were on. And I think that's what honestly makes it a fascinating and great subject matter, is the fact that can be true.
It is true. It is true. Bo is clutch, all right, when the game hangs in the balance. And this is Bo Nix from earlier today. If he learned how to play in the clutch, or is that just something that comes natural to him?
I think a little bit of both. I think a little bit is the competitive spirit you're born with, but also just the I've been through several situations having to be down at the end of the game. I've won some, I've lost some, and this year we just happened to win them more than we've lost. So I think it's something that you can sort of build on over time. You learn how to not lose, you learn how to not beat yourself, and you just learn a little bit of how to control the controllables and control the jitters when you get down at the end of the game. And, I would say my first few times in high school, when you have to go on a 2-minute drill and you haven't really been comfortable with a 2-minute drill before, you've never really done it, you don't really know what you're doing, that can be a little bit more nerve-wracking than now. It's where you've done it so many times, and I've been in both winning situations and losing situations in that, situation in the final few minutes of a game. So now it's just another drive, and you know what they're going to do, and you just got to go out there and find a way to score. So it's just a belief, I think, that you've done it before and you're going to be able to do it again.
A belief that you've done it before and you know you're going to do it again. Is it learned or is it natural? Well, it's both for me. And I find it really interesting that, because Bo was cool as a cucumber in the clutch on Sunday Night Football. Biggest stage, typically, outside of a Thanksgiving Day week, most viewed game is Sunday Night Football. Okay, they're averaging like 26 million viewers this year. It's insane. So you're under the bright lights of it. And when it mattered the most, Bo was cooler than the other side of the pillow. And hearing that response that we just played, he just said, now I don't know if he's just talking or if he means it in his heart of hearts. He said, when I was in high school and the first couple times of doing a 2-minute drill and like gotta have it situation, like wildly nervous, more nervous in high school in that situation than I am in Washington, D.C. on Sunday Night Football. If that's the authentic truth, I mean, that's pretty damn cool.
That would be amazing. My initial evaluation is that's probably not the case, because the stakes literally could not be. We're talking about like a chasm that's wider than the viewership on Thanksgiving that just broken record there by 15 million. The pressure, the stakes, everything that's at play, the speed, the skill. From high school to the NFL.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about that. Like when he's in high school, he's not thinking about what's to come. He's in that moment for the first time. So although I'm not saying that you sound crazy, because it might be overextending how he actually feels, like just taking a step further, but I think there's something to be said for it.
What I will say, though, about it is when he says, is it learned or does it come naturally, and it's both, I believe that, because I do think that Bo inherently has it within himself. He is wired in a way that he does not shy away from the moment. The lights do not get too bright for him when they are focused solely on him and he's in a position where he has to perform. He is clutch in that regard. But in a learned sense, at the NFL level, Zach, on this 9-game win streak alone, and frankly, even on the back half of his rookie season where he overcame maybe the worst start for a rookie quarterback in NFL history from like weeks 1 to 4. That game against the Jets in the rain where we were wondering, like, can Bo Nix throw a wet football?
Yeah.
Like, as a professional. It was a
Yeah.
real thing.
It was.
And then from weeks 11 to 18, he's one of the best quarterbacks statistically in the NFL. Not in his rookie class, which had 6 quarterbacks in total, but in the NFL. And so Bo Nix has had a lot of trial by fire moments in his career thus far. And so even if you just want to subtract it to this 9-game win streak where they've had, I think it's 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime during the 9 there?
6 times this year, the game has been decided on the final play.
Yes.
Forget the final series, the final play.
So it would be impossible not to think that Bo Nix is maybe already naturally comfortable to a degree because of the way that he's wired as a player and as a competitor, but it's definitely at a minimum been reinforced by just what's happening in real time in front of him and the way that he continues to mold and get better and perform and help the Broncos be where they're at.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Not perfect, but Bo is on his way. And this is a season that is, man, it's just, I don't know whether to describe it like magic or witchcraft. One of the two. I read this stat on Monday, but there has been 202 times in NFL history, 202, that a team has trailed in all of the 12 games that they played to start a season. And the Broncos are the only team of the 202 that have 10 wins. And there's no 9-game winner.
Right. It's like a margin, a several-game margin.
It is. So, like, this, I'm very confident saying, like, this might not be the Broncos' last time with Bo Nix winning 12, 13 games, whatever ultimately will end up being. But I feel very confident in saying we will never see a season like this again. Never.
No, I mean, you're talking about the whole vibe and the concept of like Tebow mania, right? Where it was just like, hey, the last handful of minutes of a game are Tebow time, but everything else like that is brutal. You're talking about that personified, not for a team that scraped and clawed just to back their way into a wild card playoffs despite losing the division on a tiebreaker. They are a top team in the AFC. They are in legitimate contention and have as good of a puncher's chance as any to be the number 1 seed with a first-round bye in the playoffs and avoid what might be the most vicious, nasty, and clouded wild card weekend in a long time. You're talking about the varsity boys, to go back to, we're talking high school analogies. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes might not even be in the dance.
Correct. I don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think so. But you got Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who were just dueling for MVPs a season ago, are going to be fighting in wild card position. That is not a spot that they're accustomed to by any stretch. And so the stakes with where they're at and the way that the Broncos are performing the way that they have for it all to align like this, you may never see it again, which is why, again, I think it's so massively important that the Broncos find a way to capitalize here, because they may never find themselves like this ever again.
Yeah, the landscape may never be like this.
The stars have completely aligned, not just for the Broncos to win 9 straight games the way they have, but the rest of the NFL and the AFC to play the way that it's played.
Yeah, to the point where the Broncos are now literally the betting favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
The literal betting favorite. Here is a Sean Payton earlier today on if they start to find out more about his team this time of year.
Yeah, I think it's always funny, and it comes from a lot of the experienced older coaches, but there was always this thing about October, then there was this thing about November, and it's obviously important. We've got 5 real good games ahead of us. As coaches, we try to break the season down. I used to do the quarters, and anymore, it's really the next opponent and the differences with this opponent, the venue, the turf, the surface, crowd noise, like all of those outside things before we even get to the scheme. And so, we didn't play our best game, nearly our best game offensively. It was tough film to watch. Yeah, I think when you get at this stage of the season, clearly these games are important.
Couple things there. One, he said, that film was hard to watch. This is why we're having the conversation.
Correct.
The head coach. So if you're like getting sensitive out there, like, oh, why are you guys being critical?
They're 10-2.
The head coach is telling you, man, that film was pretty brutal.
We didn't burn it, but we stuffed it in the bottom of the drawer.
Yeah.
After that, we don't want to see it again.
Yes. But also, Vic Fangio got hired off of the phrase, and not just hired off a phrase. He had a real resume, but the sizzle quote from Vic Fangio was "death by inches." Okay, and the amount of times that we came in here on a Monday saying, "Is that an inch? That's a foot. This is a yard. It's a mile." Blah 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 blah. Sean embodies the death by inches. Like, he doesn't say the phrase, but when you hear that, response, and he's like getting down to the minutia of, when I was a younger coach, I used to break the season in quarters. Now it's just the next game. And I'm looking at, what's the weather? Is there going to be crowd noise?
Turf conditions.
What kind of cleats should these guys be wearing? He goes, and that's before we get to scheme.
Majoring in the minor.
Majoring in the minor is a great way to put it. Master of detail. I mean, he is something, man. He is something. And the one thing that I don't doubt, and I've had questions sometimes about Sean's decision-making on a game day, or things that he, says, that end up being plastered everywhere. I've had questions about all that stuff. But there's a few things that I don't question about Sean. And one of them is he will have his team ready to play. When he needs to have that group ready to play, he will have that group ready to play. And I am very unconcerned with any sort of distractions or overlooking, creeping in. That's just not who this team has been.
The only thing he hates more than letting a reporter finish a question is losing.
Yeah.
And because of that, that inherent fire and fuel, I agree with you. I don't question Sean Payton's ball knowledge one single bit.
No.
Nor do I question his competitive drive. And even if it's rooted in maybe the self-interest of wanting to validate the fact that I think I'm smarter than you and I want you to know it.
Sure.
The Broncos are the beneficiary of that kind of maniacal pursuit and approach.
All right. Could we be, hey, if you want to react to any of that conversation, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Could we look back at today as one of the more important days in the history of the Colorado Rockies? That's next.
Does David Adelman need to take a page from his predecessor's playbook?
When you look and listen to David Adelman, do you feel like you are looking and listening at a guy that's going to be able to get on guys and do so in a way that they're going to respond? Malone could be intimidating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can Adelman get the message across when the offense is bad?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids are going to grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. Plus, you get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices with no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices are going to be working in perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings attached. So even though your kids will grow up and you still won't understand what 6-7 means, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. All with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Jim, it's late in the half here at Empower Field, and things are coming down to the wire at the concession stand.
Nachos are a solid choice, but Grant needs to finish strong here.
He scans his wallet and pulls out his Broncos checking debit card for 10% off.
Wow, savvy move. And with no surprise fees, he won't regret this order.
I don't know, Jim. That's a lot of cheese. Bank like a Bronco with Broncos checking from INT Credit Union. Insured by NCUA. Membership required.
This holiday, doesn't she deserve Tacori?
Handcrafted in California, Tacori rings have design details you won't find in other diamond engagement rings.
Including Tacori's perfectly engineered crown and windows of light created by Tacori's iconic crescent design.
It's the Tacori touch, and you'll find it at Williams Jewelers, Colorado's only platinum Tacori store. I'm Steve Williams.
I'm Shayna.
And I'm Bruce Williams. She deserves nothing less. You'll find your Tacori jewelry at both Williams Jewelers.
Now celebrating over 75 years as Denver's first family of fine jewelers.
So this holiday season, come, fall in love with Tacori, the ring she's always dreamed of.
Tacori at Williams Jewelers.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines. In Inglewood at Bellevue and Broadway, and in Cherry Creek North, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. These days, we expect everything fast. Streaming, food delivery, even same-day shipping. So why should using the equity in your home to get cash be any different? At Cake Mortgage, we get fast. We just got a client approved for $300,000 in under 24 hours with our Cake Fast Cash program. If you're struggling with high-interest debt, roll it into one low monthly payment and save hundreds or more each month. The best part? You'll keep your current mortgage rate and only pay for what you use. Cake Mortgage. Your fresh-baked fast cash loan is ready to enjoy. So don't wait. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com for thousands of 5-star reviews.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
It's time to pack the CU Event Center for Colorado basketball. There's an alley-oop to that. The Buffs are back, and single game and group tickets are on sale now. Come cheer on your Buffaloes as they take on Big 12 powerhouses like Arizona, Kansas, Texas Tech, and more. Groups of 10 or more can take part in exciting game day experiences. Grab your tickets today at cubuffs.com/tickets or call the CU Athletics ticket office at 303-492-8282.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU basketball faces Eastern Washington with pregame starting at 6:30.
One of Newsweek's best regional banks and credit unions. Learn more at wistaracu.com.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, bottom half of hour number 4. Could we look back at a day like today, and I'm being literal, talking about Wednesday, December 3rd. Could we look back at today as one of the more important days in the history of the Colorado Rockies? Man, Paul DePodesta, the new president of baseball down at 20th and Blake, he has his right-hand man. A general manager was hired today, and it's Josh Burns, the former general manager for the Diamondbacks, the former general manager for the Padres. All right, he is 55 years old. He has 4 World Series rings. Okay, most of those, 3 of those 4, came with the Dodgers this past decade, serving as Andrew Friedman's top man for over a decade. He previously was the assistant general manager of the Rockies, hired by Dan O'Dowd back in the late 90s.
Gasp.
He left in 2003, all right, for the assistant GM job in Boston. That was a good decision because he was a part of that first title for the Red Sox since 1918. This is a dude. This is a dude here, and it's no promise of things to come, but man, this is a really, really nice hire.
I agree, and I think it's very easy because of there's valid reasoning behind it where Rockies fans might look at that a byline that says Rockies hire general manager Josh Burns, formerly with the organization, all that stuff, and go, oh God, here we go, right? It's that knee-jerk reaction because the insular nature of what's gone on at 20th and Blake has kind of triggered a lot of people. But Zach, the resume that Josh Burns has put together, plus his familiarity with Paul DePodesta, their familiarity with each other, Burns' experience within the NL West, and the way that at every stop along the way, he has had a significant hand in player drafting and developing and the farm system, something that the Rockies have consistently been ranked in the bottom of Major League Baseball at.
Yeah,
There's
for years.
No water coming through that pipeline beyond a drip. But at every stop along this guy's career, you can point to legitimate, quality, star caliber draft and develop players that help those organizations win a lot of games.
No doubt. No doubt. Theo Epstein, one of the greatest minds in the history of baseball, all right? One of the architects behind that Red Sox team that won those World Series and then went to Chicago and broke another streak with the Cubs in 2016, winning the World Series. He said of Josh Burns, the new general manager of the Colorado Rockies, he said back in 2005 in an interview to the Boston Globe, he said, quote, he's a key voice in player personnel. He's got as much a feel for evaluating and statistical analysis as anyone in baseball, end quote. All right, so he transitioned from his role in Boston to the GM job in Arizona, and all they did in 2007 was win the NL West with one of the a bottom third payroll. All right, and he might be asked to do more with less here in Colorado the way that he was asked to with the D-backs. He drafted Max Scherzer. He drafted Paul Goldschmidt, A.J. Pollock, Adam Eaton. Those are draft picks of the new general manager of the Rockies, Josh Burns. All right, in San Diego, he was the GM. Now, they were going through an ownership change and all that stuff.
Sure.
But he landed in the draft Trey Turner, Max Fried, Hunter Renfroe, Zach Eflin. I mean, he has an eye for talent in the way that Theo Epstein described in 2005. And, you know, I know you referenced the Rockies farm system, and we spoke on this earlier, and you were spot on. As much as we talk about the Dodgers and their payroll and their ownership group, yeah, they have that stuff. They're the haves. But they've also developed one of the best farm systems in baseball.
Correct.
And Josh Burns has been behind that. And if there's any attribute that he brings to the table, I think that's my favorite.
Yes, because if there's any hope of this being the first 2 steps in terms of Paul DePodesta and Josh Burns, the first 2 steps on a journey of 1,000 miles that is going to be rebuilding the Rockies, the heart and soul of it the coal that lights that fire is going to come in the drafting and the developing through the farm system. This isn't a buy your way out of a rebuild kind of situation. So that skill set being one he can hang his hat on most prominently is tailor-made for what this organization needs. And I think that, again, when you talk about the familiarity within the division, the synergy with the new president of baseball operations, and kind of furthering this movement of a significant turning of the page for the Colorado Rockies, I'm ecstatic about what it could be while acknowledging that it's going to take a bit to get there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a slow burn. This is not a quick flip. It's baseball. It's not going to work like that. But I'm intrigued about the next steps that this franchise can take for the first time in years.
And again, it goes back to the situation of being lost in the desert looking for water, right? Like we were talking about that earlier with the tight end production for the Broncos post Julius Thomas. It's like the bar in a lot of respects couldn't be much lower than what it was. Well, the Rockies are like the definition of the lowest bar you could possibly set, and we continue to question whether or not it could get worse, and hopefully we don't have to find out. But with the positive momentum that it feels like we're getting in this offseason, the stated and noted change of direction and philosophy of going outside the building, if we can just see morsels, glimmers of hope and potential light at the end of that tunnel, it excites me because of the fact that there is a sleeping giant, a dormant baseball fan base here in the state of Colorado and in the metro area in Denver that is not made up of just guys that going to watch baseball to go have a beer on the rooftop.
No.
But legitimate quality baseball fans here in this state that have been starved for so long, and if they can just get a little bit of nourishment along the way, it'll go a long way to reviving this once proud franchise.
What once proud franchise? I might throw a little challenge flag.
2007 existed.
All right.
That's all we got.
What did we learn today in Denver's once proud franchise?
2007, man. That's all we got.
That's a good finish to this segment. What did we learn today in Denver sports?
That the Rockies were once proud.
It'll be fine by dusk, but I'm telling you, baby.
There's something in the orange and blue coming to Empower Field next August. Zach Bryan is bringing his With Heaven On tour to the Mile High City, and we want you there.
Let me go.
Download the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app and click on the contest banner to enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the hottest show of the summer.
We're having an all-night revival.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Winter is officially here, Denver, and Hermes Worldwide is your ride to all action. Whether you're bundling up to cheer on the Broncos at Empower Field or heading downtown to catch an Avs or Nuggets game, make sure you get there on time and in style. This holiday season, let Hermes Worldwide handle your Christmas light tours, festive nights out, and stress-free airport transfers. Skip the traffic, snow, and parking hassles. Ride in warm, comfortable luxury with a professional driver who gets you there safely. Book now at 303-577-7600 or visit ridehermes.com/DenverSports.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop our Black Friday event for up to 65% off in-store or at Hellsberg.com.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
Red Rock Roofing. Red Rock Roofing stands for greatness, which is why their free inspection videos offer you valuable knowledge and peace of mind about your Red Rock roof. Red Rock roofers use only the finest roofing materials on the market, installing roofs that'll stand up to all Colorado weather, and they'll even upgrade you to impact-resistant shingles at no cost. Call 720-735-ROOF. Visit redrockroofing.com. Red Rock Roofing, standing for greatness.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The holidays will be here before you know it, and for many families, that means excitement, but also stress. Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to my friends at American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
For the fitness fanatic on your Christmas list, save big this holiday season. At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Whatever you're looking for when you head out into the wild, keep an open mind. Sometimes the real treasure is the journey itself. Sure enough, there's treasure out there. Sometimes it's something you didn't expect to find. And more often than not, it's as simple as the memories you make. Make some memories of your own with a new vehicle from Corwin Toyota. Family driven for over 100 years.
Samantha Flanagan here for Flanagan Law. If you find yourself in a car accident, do not tell the insurance company you are fine. They will hold that against you even if you end up with medical bills 3 months later. Protect your rights. Look for the Shamrock. Go with Flanagan Law.
Tune into Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Final segment here on a hump day, and dropping by, friend of the show, the scrappy one, the scrapster, Scrap Peterson. What up, Will?
What up, boys? How we doing?
You know, you lied to me a couple weeks ago.
Oh, here we go. Easy. Here we go.
You did. And because I asked you, I made up an intro for Will. I made up an intro because I like to do these little benchmark things, right?
And he thought of it in the car on the way and never told you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who starts Denver Sports Tonight going, it is Denver Sports Tonight. The way that I used to start Stokely and say,
hey, we
are here, right? So he's stolen stuff from me. But I still, out of kindness of my heart, because I love him, I made up an intro for him. And 2 weeks ago, I asked him, I'm like, hey, scale out of 1 to 10. How much do you like the intro? And he's like, like an 8.5. And Will,
Not a bad score.
I watch you light up like a Christmas tree every night that I do this, and I just don't know why you just can't go all the way and reciprocate the same love to me that I show you.
All right, my bad. It's a 10 out of 10.
There
Zach.
we go.
Makes my night every night.
8.5. We're not doing a pizza review, right?
Oh my gosh, what are you hot on today, Will?
Man, hot on Bo Nix, right? Goes up to the podium today and tells everyone, don't hate on our 10-2 record. Interesting. We always say these guys don't hear the noise, right? Oh, they hear the noise.
Oh, they hear it.
Bo went out of his way multiple times in that answer to talk about. This is just in the last couple hours. We're 10-2 for a reason. We've beaten good teams for a reason. These other guys make just as much money as we do. And I just found that, part of me inspired, right? As a Broncos fan, I like it. My QB just punched back. And part of me going, you don't need to go up there and defend 10-2 just because the yelling shows in the morning on ESPN are telling you you're a fraudulent 10-2. So I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. What'd you make of it?
Very interesting. We didn't talk about that comment specifically, but I would just say, man, you are in such a unique window of awesomeness, okay? And you also have not arrived. You have a long way to go. And did you read Mace's piece about in the final 2 minutes of games and overtime, Bo Nix has the 6th highest quarterback rating in the sport.
Yeah.
The other 56 minutes, he's not a top 25 quarterback rating. So I would just continue to put one foot in front of the other and have those blinders on. You have an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl. Your running game, which was the strength of the offense, has been derailed majorly. So I would just continue to focus on yourself, and keep getting better and not pay attention to the noise. Don't give those kind of comments or conversations oxygen from people that you deem are hating on you.
Especially considering that approach that you just outlined would be consistent with a lot of the, frankly, self-awareness that I think we've seen from the Broncos offense and Sean Payton in this of hey, we know it's got to be better. And we know that, hey, it was good enough, but not good enough for us. It was good enough to win X, but we need to improve on X, Y, and Z. So that kind of self-awareness and that admission would fall directly in line with what you just said. You don't have to. The more you breathe life into it, the more legs that it grows to keep becoming a story for the talking heads nationally, for us sitting here in these chairs, etc.
What else did we learn today in Denver sports? We learned that the Colorado Rockies hired a general manager. We just spent some time in our previous segment talking about Josh Burns. Do you have any thought real quick? I'm sure you'll expand maybe if you want to get into it on Denver Sports Tonight, but maybe a snapshot of where your head's at after this hire.
Yeah, listen, I think Walker Monfort's running the show because Dick Monfort wouldn't hire 2 outside guys in a span of 3 weeks if he was still in charge. And this guy won World Series with the Dodgers. He has been with the Rockies before, which I think some people are going to say, oh, he has that gold star. He worked at 20th and Blake. But I actually don't mind it because he was here so long ago under Dan O'Dowd that he just got a little taste of the altitude experience and then went and won other places.
The lifetime of experience since then.
Exactly. But that's my biggest takeaway is that Dick's not doing this anymore. He's there. He's around. But Walker is making decisions.
Agreed.
And as a Rockies fan, and my fandom has waned over the years, there's no doubt about it.
Totally.
But deep in there, I still am a Rockies fan. This is encouraging. Doesn't mean I'm planning a parade, anything like that. But it does mean that there finally is direction, guys. For the first time in forever, there's the slightest bit of direction. They still may lose 100 games next year. But come 2028, 29, 30, and I know that's a long ways away, they could be an 85-90 win baseball team. And maybe there is finally some light at the end of the tunnel with 2 hires that didn't work for the team a season ago.
What else did we learn? We learned that the Rockies were a once proud franchise, according to Richie Carney in our previous segment.
Momentarily proud.
I
can amend that.
Okay.
That was a suggestion on the text line. I like that better.
Also, Mike Shanahan, unfortunately, will not be going into the Hall of Fame this year. Saw this coming from
Change
a mile.
The record.
We did this segment a month ago. I'm like, are we just setting ourselves up for a letdown? If they can only choose one, and Belichick's on the ballot this year after changing the rules about how much time you have to be out of the sport,
may never be a more accomplished coach in NFL history.
Yeah, like this wasn't going to be the year, unfortunately. So we kicked the Mike Shanahan Hall of Fame can down the road, unfortunately.
Yeah, no one's mad that it's Belichick. People are just mad that Shanahan wasn't already done.
It shouldn't have been at this point.
Exactly. And if Shanahan had gotten in when he deserved to get in, we wouldn't blink twice at that news. But because our guy got pushed once again, that makes Broncos country frustrated, and I totally get why.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan at Blue Sports Stable in Superior for our Denver Sports Equipment Drive, benefiting Recruiting Classroom. We're taking donations of new or gently used sports equipment through December 20th. Head to denversports.com/equipment for a list of drop-off locations and most needed items. And help us spread some cheer this holiday season.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
After a car accident, you might wonder, do I really need a lawyer? But at Postman Law, we go beyond the courtroom. We're your single point of contact for insurance, medical bills, and doctors. Get the outcome you deserve without the headache.
Call 844-POSTMAN. Attorney Advertising.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Select Health, how can we help?
Representative.
I'm ready to answer any questions you have.
Representative.
I'm Sam.
Representative.
It's